All right. So, are any of you hurt? Like, what are your harm clocks
I
at right
have
now?
I have two.
Hmm.
Oh no, sorry. I'm looking at luck. Yeah, I'm not hurt. I'm good.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The two. Wait, you have two down on luck? Yeah, you used two luck.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It's
I've
almost
died.
worse. In fact, for you, that is worse.
I still got 5 more lives before I'm doomed.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll be all right. All right.
Aren't
So
you
let's see.
fancy?
So let's try to figure out what we were doing. So basically, it was a month after all the stuff that happened with the Overlooked. Keith Moore, I guess, went missing. There was a state park north near the mountains. It was a conifer forest. Hannah made a contact who was a fae of the Autumn Court, kind of independent. His name was Romeo. He looked human. He, grungy, tan, wrinkled skin, looks 40s, 50s. He owns a pawn shop with shiny penny on the western
The shiny
side.
penny.
And Horace's mentor, who he was going to start getting that set up with, was Paolo, but he's not met yet. So I think Romeo was working on getting that set up. You had gone out to go camping. You grabbed a first aid kit, some flashlights, flares, bear spray, and a bear bell. I forgot you had
Bear
a bear
spray
bell.
keychains and a bear bell. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so apparently, see, there was some
It's
teens.
too bad. It's too bad we didn't bring any raid.
Yeah.
Oh, some bug spray. Did we encounter a giant bug? Is that what it was?
We're
No.
about
It
to.
was it was a
Well,
bear. Oh.
yeah,
So,
it wasn't a bear. you, so I guess the whole start of this, there were some teens that were hiking through the woods, and one of them disappeared, and Chuck had a vision of that. He saw multiple reflections of himself, but that's all he'd seen. As that kid had tripped and was pulled back by something. Let's see what else. Um, and then you had gone out. You joined a group that was hunting for them. You kind of convinced them that you were from some group in town that was investigating it. I forgot exactly how you did that. You also Horace tried to talk to some birds through interpretive dance, which didn't go over so well. They thought he was an idiot. Um,
And then I talked
Hannah,
to
yeah, you didn't talk to the birds, although Horace did understand the birds. He just didn't do a good job of getting his point across to them. Hannah talked to some squirrels,
right. I talked
and
to something.
they they were kind of nervous about being on the ground. They were worried about some kind of a new hunter in the area. It was like a big bear thing, like a many-legged bear. Um, you had somehow Horace had gone forward, then flew back and did something back there. What did you do? Oh yeah, you like cut your arm or something and left some blood, and then you called out that you'd found something. Is that how that worked? And then
yeah,
you
I
started
was
the line
leading
to come back.
the yeah, I was trying to lead the line away from us, and I don't really remember why I was doing that. But
I think
it was to distract so that Hannah and Chuck could run
yeah,
off without
which
being
they then did. So the line
yeah.
kind of pulled back, or at least the people immediately around them pulled back. They thought that you had would cover that section, and they went back. So then you went forward, and you went forward quick. You wanted to beat them there, so you were moving very quick through the woods. You I think things were going relatively well. Chuck's dog was helping Horace to do
Hobo.
something. Oh, search.
Tracking.
He was tracking. Hannah also did some. She was doing something, trying to sense, and she sensed like threads of some type of power, um, just kind of scattered. Where was that? I forget where that was. No, she didn't detect that at first. At first, you were running through. You tripped on something, fell flat on your face. Um, Chuck helped you up. You realized that you were stuck on something. That you tripped over like a. You were thinking it was maybe like some type of um, tripwire. It was sticky though, and you kind of stuck to that. And you got out of that, and you
Like it
detected.
was like some viscous stuff, right? It was like a
Yeah,
stringy. Yeah.
and then
Saliva like shit, I think you said.
Sort
Or
of.
slug slime. You said like slug slime.
It's kind of sticky, thick, yeah. And it was strung between two trees, and
Gross.
then you did some. Let's see. You tried to detect magic, and you detected some like an essence of some type of magic in those that stuff. Horace was in the trees above you as a bird. He came down, and he I guess recognized something in front of you. Oh yeah, you did the detect magic, and then you saw a big circle in the ground, like a round area of the ground that was just infused heavily with the same type of magic. And Horace realized that it was it was more than just like some stuff, because you both started digging at it, and you were kind of digging under it, and he realized it was a thing that you should maybe step back from, and then you realized it's a plate, so you were trying to lift it, and then you saw a hole underneath. He showed you a bird book, and there was mention of a trapdoor spider, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So he was saying maybe you shouldn't go down this, and then Hannah had a good idea. She took the bear spray. She kind of sprayed it down into there, and then threw the whole thing in, and then blasted wind into there. Ended up overdoing that, losing control of the magic, and it like just sliced through the container in a massive explosion, and the whole hatch blew off into pieces. And I guess at this point, that's where we are. The pieces of that are currently raining down. You are sitting in the
Nice.
forest, but you're mostly not hearing the forest at this point. You're mostly just hearing kind of a ringing in your ears with a little bit of forest in the background, and that's where you are.
Did you really have to do the ringing?
I did.
Like I hear that normally sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't
Now
need
I'm more
you to do
questioning.
that for me.
Yeah, now I'm questioning. Am I hearing this or is it me?
So yeah, I think Hannah was knocked back, so you're laying on your butt, sitting. You're kind of sitting on the ground, a little stunned, and yeah, it's a little hard to like everything. The sound is a little dulled, and Horace, I think I can't
I had
remember
actually,
how.
I had actually flown off to go find a ranger station because I was going to try and steal either a can of gas or possibly a jeep.
Okay, so you weren't there when this exploded.
I'm pretty sure I wasn't because I remember the image of like this big cloud from the forest and birds flying up as Horace like flies as Horace is looking back. But, yeah.
Yeah, with a very loud,
Mm-hmm.
and it was definitely a noticeable sound. It was luckily a small thing of that, but those are still very loud when they explode. All right, and Chuck, I guess you were, you were kind of. I can't remember if you were knocked back entirely, or if you just kind of staggered back. But anyway, I guess we'll just start with whatever state.
I was just holding up the can thing, right, when it happened. So
Yeah,
I would have gotten a good brute force of the air moving out of the hole. It would have
Okay.
knocked me back, I'm sure.
So knowing that's what just happened, go ahead and describe what happened, how you reacted to it, where you are, and then we'll go from there.
So when I flew back, maybe a couple feet, landed on my back. I'm hearing the ringing in my ears. Very disoriented. It's kind of like those scenes in movies where a bomb just goes off and everybody's kind of disoriented, not quite knowing what's happening. Feeling a bit of pain, but more just like bruising, not really like anything broken or cut. And I start calling out for Hannah. You hear first it's like a simple like pretty quiet. I'm like Hannah, but I can't hear my own voice because of the ringing in my ears and stuff. So I end up getting louder, and it's like Hannah. And I don't know if Hannah, you could hear me, but I kind of start yelling out. I can't see and hear. It's all kind of disoriented.
Yeah, at least at first you can't hear him at all, and then it probably starts coming in slowly over the ringing in your ears, but it's still very faint in the background of that. So what do you do, Hannah?
I think that she's gonna do a little bit of like, just I guess.
Right?
Hello. Um, I think she's just gonna do. It's not really an injury, right? Like this isn't like a healing kind of thing.
No, it wasn't any permanent damage, but you were definitely knocked back. You're sitting on the ground right now. You're probably dazed a bit, and your ears are ringing. It's not. You'll recover fairly quickly. It wasn't that big of an
Right.
explosion, but it's still enough to, throw you off.
Okay. Well, she's got her flashlight, right? So I think she's just going to like flash it down into the cave. Like, can't really hear anything, so might as well see like what's going on around.
Well, you had a flashlight when you got knocked back. It's kind of flung from your hand, so you can get to it. It's behind you a little ways, but you have to kind of scramble over
yeah,
to get it.
that's probably.
Okay.
Excuse me, that's probably where I'm going then. I'm going to be scrambling after that thing. So
Okay.
I'm
So-
essentially in the dark.
So Chuck, do you see her, or are you just like looking the wrong way, or are you still are you stunned in the point where you've got stars in your eyes, or what's?
Well, I think it was more we got knocked down, right? So when I'm on the ground, I didn't see
Okay.
Hannah standings calling.
So you're
it
just
out,
seeing
but
the
it's-
you're
yeah,
seeing
but
the
once
branches above you.
right,
Okay.
once I actually get up and see that she's gotten up, make my way over that way. Maybe we got separated like 10 feet or something like that.
Okay. As you head over and get the flashlight, you start hearing his
Yeah,
voice calling out Hannah. It's
And
still pretty quiet, and the ring
And
is pretty strong.
But I'm still yelling it because when you
Right.
can't hear your own voice, you talk louder. So
Yeah.
I'm still like, Hannah, Hannah type thing.
And
Right,
Horace,
you're
you hear
right in front of
him
me.
yelling Hannah from wherever you are, the distance that you're at. All right. So you're looking down in the hole with the flashlight.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think similar to what you saw before you exploded it, it's still a hole, but now it's a hole with no lid, so there's a little more light going into it. But it goes down. It's maybe about 5 foot diameter, and it goes
Okay.
down and kind of curves out of sight, maybe 6 feet below.
Badass. All right. I think she's gonna turn and kind of take stock of Chuck, and just kind of like wave in his face and just kind of like point to her ear, and then do that sort of like come on gesture.
Okay.
Sorry, where's Horace again?
He's got a bit of web stuff, like that sticky stuff, kind of hanging off of his head and in his hair, and a bunch
But
of
he's
sticks
with
and
us, right?
things and dirt. Horace is actually he was flying back towards a ranger
Right,
station to
right.
do something. So
Mhm.
at the point where going back to you, in fact, at the point where you heard the explosion, and then a little bit later, you started hearing Chuck yelling Hannah. What do you do?
Like,
Horace.
Oh.
Because you were
Well,
flying
let's
away,
see.
you heard a
Yeah,
massive
yeah.
explosion, and then you hear Chuck yelling Hannah.
Yeah.
And for all we know, Horace is going to get a drink.
Yeah. Typical MO.
I don't think he does any so they're not being eaten by spiders because there's no screaming. So and he's like, well, they're just doing weird math. He's just going to keep going.
Okay. All right. So you're looking for a ranger station, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And there's probably one not too far in from that, so you'll probably find that relatively soon. Okay. So I'll get back to you as you're basically
Okay.
just scanning, searching for that, and you'll probably get
Yeah.
there in a short time. Okay. So what are Chuck, Hannah? What are you two doing now? The ringing is starting to subside. It's still pretty loud. You're just starting to hear Chuck over the ringing. And Chuck, are you helping her? Are you moving towards her? Have you gotten up yet?
Yeah, no, I closed the space. So
Oh yeah,
as
she
I was
went over to
yelling,
help you out. That's right.
Yep.
Okay. So you assessed him. You pulled Chuck. You probably pulled some of the dirt out of your hair, I assume. And you both got stuff like just pieces are still kind of coming down slowly. Little bits of dirt and leaves and some branches that were dislodged and stuff. So it's kind of raining forest right now.
cool. Um, but yeah, I think that Hannah's aware of. Does Horace still have his location stone?
Oh,
I
man.
think-
I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah, you had originally left it in the inn when it started catching fire. It was up the stairs, but I assume you've been back since then. Did you take that, and do you keep it with you?
Yeah, because it came in handy, right? Like, it was immediately useful.
Right. Okay, so you still have issues with it sometimes when you transform. Sometimes you have to remember to grab it when it falls on the ground when you shift. But but yeah, your last transformation into a bird, you had it, I believe, or you did well. So you probably do have it with you. Although right now it's kind of converted into board form. It's like some part of his thigh or something. I don't know exactly how that works. But
You
yeah, he
hide
does
it
have
in your gullet, like you just eat it.
Yeah, it's
No, just bleh. You know, birds do that. Like
Yeah,
that's the
right.
thing
Yeah,
that they do.
so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
craw.
So
Yeah.
you just
Okay,
like
so-
cork it up.
digest grains. I don't know.
So yeah, he does have that with him still.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Cool. So I think Hannah can sense where he's at, so she's not worried about losing him. So I think that she's basically just like, hey Chuck, let's go check this out. Like we might be onto something. Kind of like, come on, let's go. Maybe not realizing it's like spiders. Like she might be thinking it's like we might
Chuck-
find the
Chuck
bodies.
doesn't know either.
or whatever.
I remember I was oblivious to it. Like Horace, like, you guys know what this is? Or Daniel, you were saying that actually, not Horace, right?
no, I think Horace was. He
Yeah,
pulled out
well,
the book, the bird book that he
yeah.
had, and was pointing to it.
Yeah, I metagamed a little bit, but yeah.
Okay. So then we have an idea that we're looking for something spider-like, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, you
Um,
think? I mean,
Well, that's why I
You
said
know-
that we have an inkling, like a kind of feel that could be what it is.
yeah. Seems like it fits. But then a multi-legged, multi-eyed bear still fits too. That also makes little hatches. That could be.
Yep.
So you're
it's
checking it
possible.
out. How are you doing that? I mean, are you just gonna jump down? Or are you gonna just poke your head down? Or what are you doing?
Is this can piece like removed now because of this explosion? Like, did it like?
Yeah,
or-
the ground that was covering it is just gone. It's currently falling down slowly over your heads, so it's slowly covering you and the area around you with little bits of it. What was there? It looks like it was just a mesh that was made up of a bunch of the ground litter, kind of stuck together with the gooey substance that she had tripped over, and it was built into this like cap for a hole, and it's just gone. So now there's a hole, and the hole's kind of, the sides have been pushed around a bit, so it's a little bit cluttered, but for the most part it's like a hole.
Is there a way we could maybe investigate this hole a bit before jumping down? Is there anything we might be able to ascertain by shining the flashlight down and that type of thing? Or is it
Well, I mean-
just really, as you say, just a hole that curves at 6 feet?
I mean, yeah, you're looking in. There's more light coming in now too. So there's direct light, like the ambient light of the forest, as well as with the flashlight. You just see that the hole goes kind of down at maybe a 80 degree, and then kind of curves up, and then after going down about 6 feet and curving slowly, it ends up curving out of sight. So you can just see the bottom of it, maybe 10 feet in, as it's curved away, and you can't see the top at that point, but.
Okay. So, yeah, Chuck's going to be a little aggressive then and just kind of, he has his staff out. It's fully put together. And he's going to, it's only a 5 or 6 foot drop, so he's going to do it such that he only has to drop about 3 feet from the point that he lets go of the top and he hits the bottom. Or at least where the curve starts.
It's only a 5 or 6 foot drop, but it's Chuck, so That
He's not
still
that
says something.
clumsy.
Rude. Okay.
He's just weak.
I thought clumsy was part of it.
Depends what you're going to make me roll. I've got one in cool.
Okay. Yeah, so go ahead, just do a quick act under pressure.
Impales himself on his own spear.
Nice.
One luck.
Break your ankle. Is that a... Oh, no. I saw a 1. Because I was apparently scrolled way up, and someone had rolled a 1 somehow. I don't know how they rolled a 1, but I was like, how did you roll a 1?
Snake Eyes minus one.
Okay, so you got a 9. That's going back to this system. Keeper's going to give you a worse outcome, hard choice, or press to pay. Okay, so you can jump down, but you're not going to look cool doing it.
Chuck never looks cool doing it.
Sorry.
Star Wars kid, man.
Nothing really bad is going to happen, but something a little bit embarrassing, or maybe like ankle twisting or falling on your face or something. What does actually happen?
How about when I hit the ground, the staff falls out of my hand and rolls deeper into the hole. Because you say it curves, but it's not. It doesn't become flat, right? You said it was curving, so it's probably.
Imagine a
deeper,
slinky that instead of looking straight down it, you've
Yeah,
curved.
yeah.
one
Right,
part.
right.
It's like that.
So I've landed on the part that allows for me to no longer keep going down because it's not straight down, but the staff kind of went a little further in.
Okay. Yeah, you jump down and you try to use the staff to kind of stop yourself, but as you hit, it catches a little earlier than you thought, and it torques itself out of your hand, and it kind of tumbles down further in. From where you are, do you have a flashlight, or is it just Hannah?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay, so it tumbles off into darkness. You can't really see wherever it went. You can't see very far past where you are. The light illuminates the area directly in front of you, but not much further. So you can see a couple feet, but the staff went just beyond that, apparently. Hannah, what are you doing? You just see Chuck jump down and the staff tumble out of his hand.
I think she sighs and excuse me. I think she's just going to like, we were just going to go look, but obviously now that we've dropped something down there, we kind of have to go down there. So she's like,
Yeah,
well,
you dropped your
kind
Chuck
of what
down
I
there,
was
so
gonna
you gotta do something.
anyway. Yeah. So she shines the light, and at the same time kind of is readying her next like air missile kind of thing. Like, I think she knows that there's something fishy here, but is like wanting to go further, like waiting, because like nothing's come out yet, so maybe it's waiting for us. So I think she's going to listen and see if the clattering of the chuck has stirred anything.
Roll a read a bad situation.
All right, sharp. Yeah.
That's nice. So that's a hold 3.
Hmm.
All right. Do you have those questions?
Situation. Almost there. Well, I mean, are there any dangers we haven't noticed?
Other than gravity at this point, no. So far, you don't really get a sense of danger. You don't feel like you're in imminent danger. You don't feel like there's something like crouched waiting to jump on you. You could be a little wrong, but at least in this moment, you don't feel that sense of paranoia.
All right. Well,
And you did just drop basically a large concussion explosive down this hole. So if there was something down there, it might be kind of stunned too.
fair. How about What? I'm gonna hold one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you don't have to ask all of the questions, but anything
Right,
related to
right.
this whole, you'll be able to ask at any point.
Right. And I guess what's the best way to protect the victims? And the victim would kind of be Chuck. Like, I feel like he's kind of stumbling forward into the unknown.
I think getting some light and then being
Yeah.
being there as backup would probably maybe protecting him from himself.
Yeah. So
Um,
maybe like pulling a swing around or something, where I grab him and fling him back and get in front of him. Yeah. Let's be fancy. I want to feel like a hero.
Okay.
Yes. So I do that.
So what
It's just
exactly are you
like
doing?
I just get frustrated. I think I just get kind of frustrated with the situation ahead of me, and just kind of like I don't climb over Chuck, but I just kind of like just let me get by, and then like let me go look for it because she's got the flashlight, right?
So you just jump down the hole and then push him to the side
Yeah,
and move
yeah.
forward? Okay.
Like it's been long enough now with him fumbling around, and nothing has attacked him yet.
Okay. So go ahead and just do an act under pressure since you're jumping into the hole and a little uncontrolled, but you get a +1 from...
Under
Can I-
pressure.
can I-
It's a cool +1.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd like to help out because I'm down in the hole now, and I could maybe like try to catch or give a hand or.
Like flatten against the wall so I can just tumble.
Yeah, I was going
on.
to say move out of the way.
Well,
so she doesn't land.
more like as you're falling, you have like something to hold on to you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, roll a help out.
get some race.
But she wasn't going for the help, so if it doesn't go well, then you're trying to help out, but she's ignoring you and it ends up getting in the way or something.
That's another cool.
If she had kind of gone to the side and slid down, oh, that works out well. If she had kind of gone to the
Yeah.
side and slid slowly down to try to do it, and then you like gave her a hand to steady her, that would have
Yeah.
worked out better. But in this case, she just leaps down and you try to help, thinking that she's going to try to reach for your hand or something. And instead of actually helping,
Wait,
what
is he
happens?
reaching his hand up?
What are you
Yeah,
doing?
that's what I was planning on doing.
I think I high five you on my way down. Or maybe I slap your hand out of the way.
So how,
But not in a rude way, just kind of like a get out of my way kind of way.
right.
But not mean. Maybe like
So-
playful.
So how does that work out, Chuck? So basically, you're not going to end up helping her out. She didn't need the help out, but anyway, but you tried to help and it didn't go as you had planned. How does it not go as you'd planned?
I think you received the mightiest of high fives.
I did.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those high fives that kind of hurt.
Your shoulder kind of subluxates for a second. Oh,
Yeah, it's like it's like a handshake where they really hold too tight. You know, it's like okay.
And you're like, ow, my bones.
you're basically doing like the equivalent of reaching out for a handshake and oh yeah, I meant to do that when they don't return the handshake.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys are in a hole. Hannah, you have a flashlight. You shine it further in, and really it looks like you can only see maybe 6 more feet horizontally in before there's just dirt that's piled into the back of it. So it doesn't really seem like it goes too far. You don't know if it's because you collapsed it or if it's because that's as far as it goes. But yeah, you only see a few more
There's
feet.
nothing
And then
here?
laying at the end is some stuff on the ground. There's a lot of loose dirt that's been tumbled down, and Chuck's staff is laying on top of that. And it looks like your explosive. There's a lot of loose dirt on the bottom, and it looks like probably your explosive kind of knocked a lot of the walls outward, and they kind of collapsed down to the floor. But you have to get into this. You do have to duck down a little bit because it's 5 feet, and I don't know how tall Hannah is, but I don't think you can stand fully upright.
Yeah, no, Hannah's probably like 5'3", 5'2", 5'3", around there. So
And Chuck
Just
is
gotta
pretty
stick
tall,
with it.
right?
I don't know if he's really tall, but he's taller.
I was thinking
Yeah,
like
he's 6 feet.
Yeah, I was thinking 6
precisely.
feet. So okay.
Yeah.
that
So yeah,
that is
he
considered
definitely has
tall.
to duck. But Okay, so yeah, you what do? You see what I just said.
So it's basically just a dead end with some crap that we just collapsed. Excuse me.
Chuck goes greedily towards the staff and grabs it.
Yeah. Yeah, you did not like having it out of your hand, and as you grab it, you almost feel like a slap, like a rebuke at having dropped it. And then, yeah, so Chuck goes forward, he just grabs the staff, and he looks really anxious as he's doing it.
Can I want to see if I can figure out what happened here. Is there a way that I can
Yes.
look before we exploded it? Like, look back in time. I think I have that. I think that's the thing I do.
Isn't that a question? What happened here? Oh, that's investigate a mystery. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, so investigate a mystery.
Yeah.
Although, how are you doing that? And then do it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do investigate a mystery. But
Well,
I do have...
What are you doing, is the question, then. Both of you. Like, I'm assuming you're both going to end up doing this, so one of you will probably roll, one will help. But what are you doing that's
I'm
that's
going to actually use magic. One of the things is, one of the effects is observe another place or time. So maybe I want to get a sense of what had happened here however long before I got here. So like 30 minutes before we got there.
Okay.
What this looked like before. Like just to I'm gonna like touch the ground and see if the dirt can tell me like where it was before.
Okay. So, Chuck, Hannah leans down and just puts her hand in the dirt. What are you doing while she does this?
How much do I see with her flashlight? Like, are you aiming it at the dirt that you're looking at, or are
I
you
think she's
aiming
got
at-
it kind of right, just like held upward, like it's only 5 feet, so like bouncing it off the ceiling kind of
Yeah.
thing.
So it's just like
So-
ambient light.
Pointing it
filling
I
the
s-
area.
So while she's doing that, I'm kind of poking the walls and the ceiling and the floor just to see is there any like give to it? Like, is it loose or is it solid?
Okay. Hannah, roll use magic.
Weird. Ooh. That's a bad roll.
And could be worse. So it
I
works
have a plus
imperfectly.
3.
So your effect is observe another place or time, which basically observing this hole. And what's the glitch?
Oh, right. Because it's...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just name which of either the effect is weakened, the effect is a short duration, you take 1 harm, ignore armor, or the magic draws immediate unwelcome attention, or it has a problematic side effect.
I think that based on where we are and what we're looking for, it seems like the magic draws immediate unwelcome attention.
Okay.
Would be the most interesting answer
right.
for me right now.
That's what I was
and-
thinking. Pretty cool.
Yeah. And Chuck, let me think about how this all works out. So you're poking around. You roll investigate a mystery.
Okay. That is sharp, right?
Yes. All right, and you got to hold 2. All right, so you have 2 hold on that. Do you know what? Are you going to spend that to ask any questions?
Let's do what is being concealed here. Because I'm poking at the dirt.
Okay.
Maybe nothing, but maybe something.
All right. So Hannah, you kind of kneel down, prop the flashlight up, and reach down, touch the ground with your hand. Chuck, you're poking around. You poke the walls, dirt falls. You kind of poke the ceiling, dirt falls in your face and in your eyes. A little bit on Hannah, and you start kind of poking the ground. She's reaching down, touching it. You poke one spot of the ground, and as you poke that, it hits something kind of hard, and at the same time it hits something hard, something hits Hannah, your hand, where it was down. Something pushes up into it and hits it from underneath. It
Gross.
you
Is it zombies?
maybe. Let's see. I'm trying
Zombie
to
bear spider.
think.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Gross.
Let's observe another place or time. So as that's hitting you, you actually get a flash of a person kind of being drugged with their fingers kind of clawing at the dirt of the forest floor, dragging leaves as they go down, and then kind of going around the curve of this thing, and you just get a sense of that hand as this thing hits you. What do you do? So Chuck, you just hit this thunk. Hannah, you just had that happen, a flash of it, and the thing hitting your hand.
How big is the thing?
You don't know yet. It just hit the bottom of your hand, although when you got the flash memory, it was about the size of a person's hand.
I grab it.
Okay. And you're shaking hands with a, you're shaking hands with a skeletal hand. It's not totally skeletal, it's more like almost mummified. A zombie actually isn't too far off. It's sort of a
Does it
combination of
feel-
mummified and zombified.
Does it feel like it's alive? Like not alive, but it's animated, or am I grabbing something inanimate?
It doesn't feel, it feels like you're just grabbing, it's not resisting, it's not doing anything, it's just there. It's just there being
Gross.
gross. Yeah, it's just there being
Yeah,
gross.
no, I'm there being gross. I think that
It's almost like Chuck hit something to knock something else up that hit your hand, almost. As a guess, like as a possible chain reaction.
Hmm?
Well, you said it's unanimate, right? So it's not actually coming up and grabbing her.
Yeah, well, sounds like she went down and grabbed it, but yes, it's not.
yeah,
It's
that's
not
what
grabbing her back.
Yeah, I went down and grabbed it. Like I I went down and like grabbed whatever was down there.
Well, I
Yes.
thought you first said though that something came up and poked her.
I did, yeah. Like as you hit something hard, something
Right.
went up and hit her hand.
That's what I mean. Is that
Yep.
when I was poking down, it caused a chain effect that popped this thing up.
Yeah. So, are you gonna look into that more? Because it's still you pretty much just see the
Well,
dirt because everything's under the dirt. But after Hannah grabbed it, she does have a kind of hand in her hand.
Chuck is going to do what anybody who has like a stick or a shovel and is digging or banging down on the ground does when they hit something hard and hit it a few more times. You know, like when you're digging digging out the grave and they are looking for treasure and you finally get to something, it's like thunk, and you're like, okay, let's thunk, thunk, thunk. You know, so
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
Hannah goes like, dude, stop! Like,
Yeah.
wait.
As he's hitting it, you're just feeling vibrations in the thing that you grabbed. It's just like vibrating in your hand. Okay, as that's happening, Horace. So you have at this point you've gotten into sight of a I guess one of the trailheads has a station at the front of it.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing with that?
All right. Well, I'm still a bird. Going to land on a tree nearby and see if I can find. Basically, what I'm looking for is gas, because
Like gasoline or propane
gasoline.
tank? Or, okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, either one of those things. Anything that I don't know. I've sort of accidentally made Horace a bit of a pyromaniac.
An
here, but,
arsonist, yeah.
that can set a giant spider on fire is basically what we're going for here. So yeah, and that's probably what a investigate. No, yeah.
Let's I mean, it's not really an investigative mystery. Let's just do act under pressure.
Under pressure. Was that cool?
Yeah. Unless you just want to kick some ass, I don't know what what that would be.
That is a 9.
Okay, so
Figuratively.
right. Okay, so you're not going to find exactly what you want, but you'll find something that will help you with that goal. So explain what you find.
Okay, so I find gas cans, but I don't find any gas in them. I'm looking around, and I realize, like, well, of course there's no gas in it. They filled up the Jeep here already. And I realize, like, you know what I can do? I can run over a spider with a Jeep. I don't even have to get to pour gas on it.
He's just gonna crush the hole.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
This is also this is a wonderful, terrible idea because Horace in a car actually has -1 on all his rolls. So
Driving
right,
through a
it's the whole
forest that is
metal.
not intended for
Yeah.
vehicle traffic. Yeah, this is going to be great.
yeah, yeah.
That's a bird, by the way.
This is the guy who's been avoiding metal all this time. Suddenly, he's just like, you know what? Fuck it.
Look, it's either touch some itchy metal or fight a giant spider with my bare hands. So like, really.
Here, I was expecting you to actually siphon it from the Jeep, but you took it in a more fun direction.
Yeah.
The gas cans are metal too, so that's also a little bit annoying.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they have the really old school.
You're
they don't
just
have the
gonna-
cool
you're just
plastic
gonna
ones.
be
They actually have
annoyed
metal
all
ones.
around
Yeah.
for a bit.
I guess you're getting used to this whole iron allergy thing.
Mhm.
Luckily, it's more an allergy and not just like burning flesh. That would be bad.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So all right.
Yeah.
Did you
That's
change?
that's kind of the thing about this playbook where I feel like that vulnerability probably needs to. Oh wait. Oh no. I could take +1 harm when I suffer harm from it. Anyways, yeah. I feel like there should be more consequences for it, but in any case, yeah. Let's. Starting the car, I guess. Starting the Jeep.
I assume that you're not a bird at this point, right?
No, I'm gonna change back into a person. Do I need to weird out on that one?
No. I mean,
Okay.
even if you want to, just to see how badly you did the first couple times, you can. But eventually,
Okay.
you'll get it right because you're not under
All right.
massive time pressure.
Yeah, I mean, it's all right. You know, I dropped some things, then I picked them back up.
Yeah. Hey, you still need to work on this.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, who rolled that failure? Chuck. Okay. I think you get experience for that, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I marked it.
Okay. Good. Anyway, go ahead,
all right.
Horace.
So, yeah. Do we want to do like the keys were just in the sun visor kind of thing, or
They were in the. You found them in the.
yeah.
Like when you realized that it was in the Jeep, you also found the keys in the station.
Oh, okay. All right.
They're like on a
All
little
right. So the station's abandoned.
hook
yeah,
on the
okay.
wall.
Yeah.
So yeah, you
Yeah.
have keys.
Okay. All right. All right. So yeah, Horace was like, yeah. So Horace jumps in this car. It's kind of like it kind of makes him all itchy. And he's like, jeez.
Does he know how to drive?
Of course not. He's never been in a car. He's rarely in a car before.
Okay.
All right.
He
One
just
pedal means
decided
go.
it's
One pedal
time.
means don't go. This is simple.
How hard could it be, right?
Yeah.
At least you're not blind.
Yeah, so of course the first time he puts it in gear, he puts it in the wrong gear, so it takes off backwards and sort of.
Well, the first time
bashes
you
its
don't put
way.
it in a gear, it's. Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I was thinking it's an automatic, but yeah.
Oh. No,
Manual
no,
be
it's a
wrong.
manual.
Okay, it's a manual. Yeah, yeah.
Did he has to roll with setbacks or whatever to because driving a manual transmission if you've never done it before,
Yeah.
it's like almost impossible.
So flipping hard, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll get to rolling. So far you put it in the wrong gear and then you put it in reverse. And
Yeah.
so you finally get in reverse. You do it without using the clutch properly, so it like jerks you back as you're going
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah, I'm like-
Roll and act under pressure.
okay.
So I know that this is okay. All right.
Wow.
Let me think about this. So not only is this gonna just turn out bad, go bad, it's not gonna do what you want. Okay. So at some point, this is gonna end fairly badly for the Jeep. How does that happen? You can get as far as you want as that happens, like not as far as you want, but you could already have figured out how to go forward. But you're not gonna make it through the woods at least not the first shot, until you do some massive damage to this Jeep.
Okay. Let's see. Well, okay. Yeah. So he gets it in gear, and it's after that initial like, he's lucky because Jeeps are kind of geared low, so it's actually it's actually you're relatively easy to drive as a manual but he gets it moving, and
Especially if you just stay in first gear.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's moving forward. He moves it. He gets it going down a hill, and it's actually at a pretty decent speed. Comes up over hill, back over a rise on this path in the woods, and realizes that there is a fallen tree in front of him that is just about low enough to let the Jeep through, but not quite. And instead of stopping, he ducks. So now the Jeep has no top.
Okay. And
I like
I'm
that
gonna...
he just like gassed through it, like didn't even stop or let off the gas, just like
So
powered through.
you'll be able to continue going through with this, but you're gonna take a harm from that if you actually continue going. Otherwise, if you don't want to take the harm, the Jeep is irrevocably damaged. Your choice.
I'll take the harm.
Okay. And it's no armor. It's like you're not able to avoid it, so you actually have to take the full harm.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, you took a harm. I don't know if that's from glass, like slicing it, or maybe some of the metal. Maybe that's where your metallurgy comes in. Some of the metal actually ends up scraping against you as it's going, and it cuts in a way that it's like an infected cut almost immediately.
Yeah, just like scrapes the back of his neck as the top comes off.
Yeah, and almost immediately it's just like it gets inflamed and it's all. Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that one will be a little harder to heal than your normal stuff.
Yeah, that's 2 harm because I take +1 harm when I suffer harm from it. Okay. All right, so I'm
rough.
careening through the woods in a stolen Jeep.
A stolen convertible Jeep.
Stolen convertible Jeep that I'm very comfortable to.
All right. Okay, so back to you guys.
It's fine.
Back to Chuck and Hannah. So the ring in your ears has kind of lessened, and as it lessens, you also notice that you were hearing birds, and even though you're currently hearing birds in the sound effect, you don't really hear as many birds. Not only are the fact that you're in the hole, it's muffling them, you're realizing that it's not just that. It's like it's more silent than you would expect. The only thing you hear is a little bit of wind. What are you doing? So Hannah, you're holding what seems to be a dirt-covered hand that's not really moving away from you or attacking you, or it's just kind of a hand hanging out there that keeps. Now that Chuck's been poking at it a few times, it's kind of hitting your hand a little bit, but.
Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna get Chuck to stop, and like also, because I'm in contact with it, I think that I'm going to do some kind of. I mean, would trying to guess how old and dead this hand is be investigate a mystery?
Did you still actually, Chuck? You had investigate a mystery, right? You had holds on that?
Yep.
So you just used one
I
hold.
rolled 11, yeah. So I got
You
2
had
more,
2
right?
holds. You get 2 on an 11. And I think you asked one, didn't you? Or
Two,
did you
yeah,
not?
two. I did ask what was being concealed here.
Okay. And did you want to ask one of the other questions? Possibly in response to what Hannah's trying to figure out right now.
What about what happened here?
Okay. So you're poking it, Hannah tells you to stop. What do you do at that point?
I stopped poking at it. Do I see what I'm hitting, or is it all under the dirt?
It's all under the dirt.
Maybe then I'll, instead of poking at it, I start rubbing the dirt away,
Okay,
trying
so
to figure,
you
trying
kind
to get to it.
of go down on a knee and you kind of brush it away with your hands.
Right.
Okay. So as you're doing that, you push it away and you uncover some clothes and with something hard under that. And as you're brushing that away, you see that it's a hand. And as you brush it further away, it is an arm, not a hand. It's an arm. It's like an upper shoulder where
Right.
it goes over and you brush away. You continue brushing it away and it goes to an arm and then the hand that hand is holding. So now you have one whole continuous piece, and it's also attached inside under the dirt. It's still stuck on something. Do you want to dig that out further?
Yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah.
Hannah, as he's doing that, are you helping to just kind of start uncovering this?
Yeah. So I've let go of the hand at this point.
Okay.
Like, I figure it's not going to move, and this is something that we can unearth, and I can probably learn more that way. Like, if it was something where it was like hard to get to or stuck, I might have tried to use magic to figure out what happened to this person.
Right.
But we might be able to figure that out if we just sort of uncover him.
Okay. So as you, the two of you, just start. Oh, were you gonna say something?
No, that was a silly comment. Keep going.
Just tampering with crime scene evidence. That's all.
Yeah. So you continue digging out, and this dirt is super loose. It's like it probably was just the dirt that came down on it as your explosion just blew up the hole. It's not like buried and patted down. So it's really easy to uncover, and you uncover what looks like a mummified body, but it's not quite mummified because it's not totally dry, but it's just desiccated. It's just like the skin is pressed to bone. It looks like the clothes, Chuck, that you had first run into, it's some sort of uniform. It looks like it's a police uniform. Yeah, there's a police uniform, and the other hand is actually it's still gripping a pistol.
Whoa. Cool.
And Hannah, as you're digging this out, you get another flash. So the spell that you had done is still sort of there, and in fact, it's stronger than you expect. Something. You realize that something about the first thing you had done when you had cast the air blast and your magic just got out of your control, it was being fed. It kind of was being fed extra energy in some way, and it's like you had tried to use magic to see another place in time, and you thought that had ended when you did the first touch, but you're still getting like sputters of that occurring. It's almost like, if you have a candle that's going out, but it's like going and it's kind of sputters that comes back, and yeah. So you get another flash of from. You can't really see much. It's very dark, and you get the sense that it's from a person's eyes. But you see a gun held up in front of you. You see 3 muzzle flashes, and then you feel like you kind of get the sensation of the ground being taken out from under you, your stomach dropping and just like falling, and a thump as you hit the ground and then sliding, and then that flash goes away.
Oh shit, Spider got a gun now.
That would be good. Okay, and let's see.
You can hold
So
like
you
8 of them.
Yeah. Well, he's got to walk or something, so you only hold 6. Okay, so yeah, you uncover this, you find the gun, you find the body, it's wearing a police uniform, and you can't, so you're trying to figure out how old it was. The tissue still, like, you're holding it, the tissue still feels semi-fresh. It's like it doesn't even have a lot of signs of decay on it, like you would expect. It's yeah, it doesn't have any signs of decay other than the fact that the skin is almost pressed to the bone.
Is it? Yeah. Is it? I was about to say, is it drained of its blood?
Yeah, I mean it's like almost like dried out.
Okay.
Ew. Excuse me. So,
And
okay.
are you, and if you are you looking over that body anymore? I mean, as
yeah,
you're doing that,
aren't
how
we looking
closely
for
do you end up
somebody?
looking?
Is this the person we're looking for?
You are looking for a high school kid. This is
Okay.
a police officer, you would assume, unless something dressed it in a uniform at some point and put a gun in its hand. But you're assuming that it's kind of hard to tell. The body is so desiccated
When I was
that
getting when I was getting the memories, could I tell what type of person it was? A young person, old person, male, female, anything like that?
not really. You're kind of getting the flash from their perspective, so yeah. I guess maybe if you noticed, you could have seen the arms as it held up the gun. No, it was too dark and the muzzle flashes blinded you, so you didn't really catch that.
Yeah, I just know that it died by whoever this was died by gunshots. That's pretty much it.
And you would remember, even though you don't remember because it's been like a month or two, but you would remember that almost like not that long ago you had just gotten the reports that there was gunfire and one of the police officers that had been the first one that went straight to the spot where they were had stopped reporting in.
Right. So either this is a police officer or this is a victim of the police officer.
Wearing
He's
the
wearing
police officer's uniform with the gun in his hand, yeah.
Wait, sorry?
So the body is wearing a police officer. It's wearing a police uniform.
Oh, got it.
And it
I
did
missed
have a
it. I'm
gun, a
sorry.
pistol in its hand.
But it got shot first.
What?
Were the flashes towards the person or away? So they were shooting at something?
Yeah.
Or they were getting shot at?
They were. It seemed like you were holding a gun in front
Got
of
it.
them, and then the muzzle flashes were facing the other direction.
Okay. But that's not what killed our boy. Something else killed our boy.
Gunshots don't usually do this. No. Are you looking
So I
any
found-
closer at it, or are you just?
Yeah, I mean, like, if he's got his uniform, he's got his badge on there, probably. Maybe he's got some other forms of identification. Or, like, we know it's the police officer at this point, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna search his pockets. I'm gonna search everything. Like, at this point, it's just like, what the fuck is going on?
Okay. So you kind of search through. Doesn't really have much on him. He's got just the typical things you'd expect on an on-duty officer. There's the pistol holster. There's like a can of mace on one side. There's whatever else he would have. His badge, uniform, shoes, pants, all that. As you kind of turn him over, you notice that the uniform itself is ripped. It kind of in the back upper part of his back, and
Does it look like animal? Or what?
possibly it actually so looking at it a little closer, you roll the body and you kind of poke and prod at it and try to determine what it is, and it looks like it was actually torn from, because directly underneath the skin is also like really heavily damaged, like pierced majorly. So there's two large piercing wounds that actually go, and the ribs at that point are kind of pushed outward in one of the spots, and the other one it looks like it hit kind of spinal cord, and there's like just holes in them, and then the holes in the uniform look like it was just made from. It basically looks like someone took two daggers, stabbed, and slit a little bit.
Yeah. So is this spider just like burying its food after it's done? Is this what we found?
Maybe.
Traditionally, spiders will wrap their prey in a cocoon
Okay.
and fill them with venom, but some spiders just will consume it directly. Like in this case, that's why I was asking if the blood was drained. Because
Yeah.
some spiders might just, suck out
Drain
whatever's
blood.
inside them. Yeah.
Have y'all checked to make sure this guy is actually dead? Not just like really messed up.
He's so. He
Sounds
said,
like
he
he's
said he was dead.
Yeah, mummified type remains.
He hasn't
Not
moved.
moving.
He hasn't. He doesn't seem to.
Breathed.
Yeah, there's not much in the way of liquids in his body, so he's probably not in good shape. I guess there's a. I don't know. No one's technically checked for a pulse, but
Just get up close and put your hand on his.
oh, they're
On
up
his
close.
dry, papery
They're moving him all around. He's yeah. I mean, it's a pretty good guess that he's not alive. He's not in good shape. I guess
Our boy
anything's
here.
possible, but
Not alive.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let me think about it. So you searched. You've got the pistol. Do you are you leaving the pistol there, or are you taking it? There wasn't really anything else of use except maybe a badge, some clothing, the mace. Was there anything else of use that he would have? A radio, I guess. Actually, no. The radio's not
I
here.
don't know if we want to like loot the corpse of a cop. Like that just seems really incriminating. So I don't want to take anything too. Like, I mean, I know it's useful, but I don't want to take anything that could get us in trouble later. I guess if this is found. I mean, if this is found, Hannah thinks about it.
Like instinctively, I would say take the handcuffs, but you're right.
Yeah.
If you then get caught with the handcuffs, it'll be
A
hard
lot
to say.
of questions. Yeah.
Another one I was thinking of is take the badge, so we could say, "Hey, we found the cop. Here's his badge," but then that could be considered a trophy. So yeah, maybe it's best to leave it alone.
Yeah. Although I have held hands with it now, so my DNA is all over it.
Yeah. Okay. Let me think. So you've been doing this so you uncovered a body. All right. So Horace, you're driving through the woods at this point in a newly made convertible. How's that going?
Not well, Jim. Yeah. Let's see. I think we're just going to try and figure out like how like when I arrive, rejoin them. So I don't know how you want to do that.
Roll another action under pressure.
Oh, okay.
Dun, dun, dun,
Oh
dun.
my god. He is really bad at this.
Wow.
Surprisingly, he's not very good at driving this Jeep.
All right. So,
My
so
dude.
Horace. Well, you should have taken the gas. All right. So you're driving. You're somehow missing the majority of the trees. Every once in a while,
Yeah.
you've already lost the passenger side mirror.
Uh,
If it had stayed on, you would have lost it multiple times. And you're lucky the door is still
why
attached.
people look behind themselves in these things anyways.
Yeah, yeah.
Seems dangerous to turn your head around.
everything's up front.
So there's a point
Oh
where
my
you're going
God.
through, and you would just dodge out of the side of one tree, and you come across one police officer and two park rangers that are kind of they're bent down in an area looking at a branch and looking at a plant in the underbrush that they're kind of inspecting that, and one of them is kind of wandering a little from the other two, kind of looking around the area. This is basically the spot that you had set up to get them to go to. What was it that you had done that you had left there to convince them that this was something?
I'd torn off a piece of my shirt and
Okay.
wiped some of my own blood on it.
All right. So I guess that's there, and one of them is kind of picking that up and getting ready to put it into a bag. But you're heading right at them, and as they hear the trees crashing and the metal scraping against the tree, they look up and they look like deers in headlights. What do? How does that go?
Well, I try not.
You are.
I just restarted recording. I've lost my camera at this point, so I'll be holding very still, apparently.
What are you doing? Like, are you not using your computer? Did it completely die?
No, my computer started, but the camera didn't start.
Can you see us still?
Yeah, I see you fine. Just my webcam just isn't working is all. Everything else seems to be going. Yeah. And I think the USB hub is the problem and why the computer crashed, but I'm not positive. All right. So Horace was tumbling through the woods in the car. Oh yeah, and you were about to run over all the guy, or two of the guys at least. Okay. So it's up to you how that actually goes. It's gonna go badly, but you can decide who it goes badly for.
Okay. Well, I'm going to try not to hit them. Obviously.
Do you succeed?
Okay. So I suspect what happens so since this is a failure, I suspect what happens is that I slam into a tree directly in front of them. Is I think the appropriate action here.
So are you like swerving to avoid them, and then you just go straight into a tree from doing that?
Yeah.
So you basically have a choice: run them over, or try to avoid it and crash. Okay.
Right.
All right.
I'm living the trolley problem here, I guess, except there's no other option.
Right. You're the one who died. Well, you're not dead, but I guess this is throwing yourself on the track kind of idea. Okay. So yeah, they look at you. They look up, seeing you flying through, and kind of like deer in headlights. They're startled. They're getting ready to go. The police officer looks like he's torn between pulling his gun and yelling something or just diving out of the way. He ends up going with diving out of the way, and the two rangers kind of do the same. But they jump out of the way, and you swerve at the same time. So it turns out if you had gone straight, they probably would have gotten out of the way anyway. But you tried to avoid them. So you pull the wheel hard, and you crash into that tree. The whole Jeep just comes to a stop. Do you know enough to wear a seatbelt?
I think so, actually.
Is the seatbelt still connected after the removal?
Would he know? God, that's a question, isn't it?
Well, I mean, does Laura have a car? I'm sure he's ridden in cars. I'm sure he knows enough about riding in a car that you would have to put a seatbelt on. He's not a fucking idiot.
Would he be wearing a seatbelt in this situation?
Fair.
I mean, I mean, that's basically tying himself to this car that he feels like really itchy about. So no, I don't think he's wearing a seatbelt at all.
And I'm not even sure the seatbelt is there anymore. Let's see, a Jeep has a seatbelt that attaches at the top left.
Well, the lap band
that whole
would be
thing
there,
might have. Yeah, the lap band would still be attached.
Yeah,
although no, because if the lap band loops up and it expects to connect to the top part, it would potentially be loose if it's one long strap.
Yeah. Or it could have just been ripped out with the rest of the.
So one way or the other, you're not wearing a seatbelt. Okay.
Yeah.
So, you're slamming into this tree. You weren't going too fast because you're probably still in first gear, but you could get 20, 25 miles per hour, and a crash at that speed is rough. How does that resolve? I can imagine a few things, but I'm not going to put words in your mouth how that works. But so you got these police that just jumped out of the way, kind of starting to yell something because they're totally baffled by the fact that a Jeep just crashed through the woods at them. You just slam into a tree, and what happens? Like, you're in the process of hitting the tree. No seatbelt on.
Okay, so I think what happens at this point is I don't quite hit the tree dead on, which means when he goes flying out of the Jeep, he does not, crush his skull on the tree, but instead sort of goes flying through the woods. Only, unlike the way he's been doing it thus far with feathers and light bones. Um, I think sort of disappears into the foliage from the point of view of the cops and the rangers. So it's a little bit of a little bit of something bad because he's going to hit the ground at a fairly good speed. But it's a little bit of something good in that he vanishes out of sight, at least momentarily, from law enforcement.
Okay, so yep, you slam into the tree. The Jeep stops. You don't. You just go flying through the air, tumbling over and over and over, and off into some brush. And yeah, and then so you do hit the ground though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, do one quick act under pressure to see if you're able to actually land with any amount of grace, or if you're just going to slam face first into and slide across.
Oh, dude, you're gonna level.
Oh my god, that's another failure. Okay.
Yeah. That's gonna. So.
How lucky?
It's not like I have a bad cool. I have +1.
That's I didn't say Alexa.
I think it's. Don't you feel lucky right now? Like, shouldn't you be, perhaps, looking at that? Maybe. Just get.
So if that stays at
luck
5,
on your side.
you're like just landing on your face, sliding across the ground, and you're gonna like your momentum carries you. You end up wrapping your back around a tree too, and you're gonna take a decent amount of damage from that. So you already took, even though technically you should have taken 1 harm, it was not really a harm situation. You just ended up taking harm, so you only took 1 before, but you're also going to end up taking another 2 from this wonderful landing.
Wait, how many am I getting here?
2 from this.
Okay.
And again, not armor doesn't apply.
Yeah. All right.
The armor that you have is your jacket, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In Horace's experience, there's no such thing as luck.
Right. So we'll leave it at that. I was envisioning like you seeing the tree coming, you're just like, oh shit, and you just turning into a bird and flying off as the Jeep slams into the tree. But okay. So you are on the plus side, out of sight of the police, having just rammed, almost run them off the knot road. Okay. So Chuck, Hannah, you are. So you were just digging up the spot. You kind of get an idea of what's going on here, and you suddenly hear like yelling from behind you and a loud crash, and right before that you may or may not your ears have gotten quieter in that there's not trees, so sounds are a little easier to pick up. They're echoey. It's hard to tell where they are, but you can still hear them because they do go a fair distance. So you're hearing a lot of commotion at this point, and then
direction would be tough too, right?
Yes. Yeah, because where you are, you're already getting kind of a muffled version of everything anyway, but you're definitely hearing something.
Shit. All right. So, sorry, like you said, a muffled something?
Just
Coming
you're hearing a
towards us?
muffled version of all this stuff that's going on,
Okay.
of the crashing through the forest and the slamming into that tree, because it's not too far off from where you are.
Is he at least attempting to make his way back to us at this point?
At this point, he's attempting to hug a tree in the oddest way possible.
We don't know that's Horace, though, right? We just heard a crash.
No, yeah.
So I think Chuck would be like,
That doesn't sound so good. Maybe we should go check that out, Hannah.
Yeah. Okay, so she kind of like, I think maybe, maybe she takes a little piece of the dude, or, like a piece of his clothing or something like that. Probably not a good idea to rip off a chunk of his body, I guess.
Just to keep.
Another
Well-
trophy thing, right?
Well, it might be able to tell me something about what happened. Like, I can maybe do a little bit more research. Call back to. Don't I have? Oh wait, no, that's a hold that I have for searching the place, not for the item. Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. All right. Well, I guess. Well, since I have that hold, it was investigate.
It was a really bad
investigate?
situation.
Really
and
bad
you-
situation.
Yeah.
Okay, so So we're still in the pit, right? So I'm gonna do a. What is our best way out with the situation, especially with the situation brewing upstairs?
Back the way you came. I mean, that's
Oh man,
yeah.
that didn't cave in behind us. Okay.
No.
All right. So burned it. I guess let's head out and check that out. See what's going on up there.
I mean, what you didn't do is actually check to see if this was a dead end tunnel or if it had just collapsed. But
Oh.
that's definitely not a way out. It's not the best way out, regardless whether it's a collapsed tunnel or not, because it's definitely much easier just to go out the way you came.
Okay. Fair enough. So, I think that Hannah's going to be on guard. I think she's aware that Horace is nearby, but I don't think she would anticipate just Horace with all the noise. So I bet she thinks like there's something going on, like somebody's driving a tank or something around. Just crashing into things. Like this must be something like either some big monster or some big thing.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah,
understand that.
It's-
I didn't
it's a
expect it either.
zombie- It's a zombie bear spider tank.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he had
That's
pistols,
not
now he
fair.
has tanks.
Yeah.
Not frightening at all.
So as you're getting out of the pit and as you're trying to go, you get another kind of flash. So your magic is still sputtering in a way that you don't quite understand why it's happening, and you get a flash and you get like a sensation of something, like a source of power near where you are that you can't really recognize. It's like almost as you're contemplating the dead end side of this pit as you turn to leave, it's almost like a sun bursts from just below, like just behind the dirt. It's so bright that it almost feels like light is shining through the dirt, but then you realize it's
Gross.
not actually light, it's more just a sensation of magic. And
Cool.
then almost as quick as it bursts into existence, it just kind of fades and disappears.
And I didn't notice this before?
No.
Or is this okay.
I mean, you were kind of getting, like, the hatch part had a really slight essence of magic infused into it, and there's been little scatterings of that down here, just kind of, like, almost imagine that you had, like, a glow stick, and it's when it's dying, it's so dark that you kind of have to go to a pitch black room and look at it, you can almost see it. It was at that level, but as you were getting ready to leave, you just got a sudden burst, like a little bit further into the tunnel from where you are, like in the dirt area.
Search for magic again. I probably should have searched for magic again before leaving the tunnel. But that is that. I think that can I do detect magic or something? Is that like a thing? I know that's a thing in another game, but like identify.
I mean, you can do let's say and make that an investigate a mystery, and if you want to use
Nice.
magic in this case instead of sharp, well,
Nah, that's fine.
okay.
I can do it without it.
Oh, ow, wow. Okay, so you know all the things.
I think that
Two
flash
hold.
was just like an absolute flash of clarity. It was something that just rang like a bell and immediately,
An epiphany.
yeah.
Apparently. So what question is that epiphany going to shine light on?
Well, we're trying to find out what the monster is, right? We're trying to find out what this next big bad is.
Yeah.
I think Hannah gets a specific detail about kind of what kind of bad this is. If it's I don't know, like if it's like a certain type of monster or fairy or like celestial being or
So what sort of
demon.
creature is it? Is the question then?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what are you doing to so the light kind of shined in the dirt and then faded. What are you doing that's helping you determine this?
I think something with my touch, something with that like secret handshake with the dead guy, like something happened there. Maybe I didn't get it right away. Maybe it didn't happen right away, but I have a feeling it came from there. I think that maybe it was sort of like you mentioned before, sort of his last sight, his last breath, like some kind of recollection, like a flash of a memory from the police officer, just kind of like flashed in that moment as well, like a snapshot in his brain of what this
Okay.
thing maybe looked like, sounded like,
So-
smelled like. Yeah, you know, something that's distinct.
Right. So as you're turning, you see the flash. It's almost like you weren't even looking at it when it happened. You just saw a light coming from behind you in the tunnel. So you turned and looked, and you saw the massive light coming from inside of the dirt, like so bright it was shining through and then fading. Thinking that it was a flash that was coming from, because you also got the sense of like sputtering magic being fed from somewhere. You thinking that it was something related to this body, you duck down, you touch the body again like you did before, and you try to dig a little deeper. You try to get a sense of what happened to it, what it was that affected it. But as you're doing that, you realize that there is more. There's like something here, and it's not the body. There's something here that is providing a lot of magical energy. You're realizing that it almost feels like your hair is not literally standing on end, but your magical hair is. It's like that sensation that it feels like there's just
Static electricity.
yeah,
right?
just an electricity in the air, and you start kind of trying to get a bead on that, try to focus on what that is, and as you do that, you kind of identify it as fey magic. It's definitely a type of magic that you've felt before. It's definitely a touch of fey, and it's like all around, but it's coming strongest in the direction of the back of the tunnel, and you kind of are looking at it and moving a little towards it, and another trickle like bursts through, and it flares up again, and you realize that this is something that you have not encountered, but it seems like something that you've heard of, and it's like a rupture, a tear in the fabric between the realms, and fey energy is leaking through it.
Huh. And that's what I saw. I saw a tear.
Yeah, you saw the massive outpour of energy coming through, but as you focus on it, it's almost like kind of squinting and shielding your eyes type thing, to where if you look at a light bulb, it's just massive light, but if you kind of squint and look, you can see the filament inside. It's kind of like that. So as you're actually trying to kind of block some of the glare and get a better idea, you can kind of see almost like just a rip in the air that kind of comes and goes, and it opens every once in a while, like a little gust of air blowing through a tear in a tent.
Huh.
And you realize that the explosion of your magic going uncontrolled, it was all being fed by the energy coming from this tear.
I think this is Hannah's basically just like, oh fuck, like this is like big deal shit. I think she's gonna try to get a hold of Maxwell right away.
Chuck, so you're getting ready to leave. You're heading out first. You're in front of Hannah, and then you notice Hannah turn towards the back of the tunnel and just like duck down, touch the body, and then she's just staring at the back of the tunnel. What are you doing?
Am I still in the tunnel?
Are you? I mean, did you probably noticed that she stopped and turned? So did you just keep going out, or did you? What do you do?
Well, what point do I notice? Is it like when I'm like climbing? I'm at the top. I'm at the bottom.
You had just turned to start heading out. You both kind of decided, okay, let's head out, and you turned to go check out what that was. So you turned and started moving towards the tunnel, but before it had started sloping up to the point where you had to climb out, and you would have noticed at that point.
I'm gonna change it a little bit. I didn't notice, and I climb out.
Okay. All right, so you climb right out, and
I think she's right behind me the whole time.
okay, and you're hearing yelling coming from kind of the direction that you had come from. Do you stay and wait for Hannah, or do you just head straight towards it, or away from it?
Do I see the commotion that caused all that from the hole? Like from the entrance to the hole?
No. No. This is back on the other side. So the line that you had distracted and pulled back from, you two had run forward for quite a ways, several hundred meters, and you were out of sight of that spot. Plus they had already gone back a ways out of sight of where they were as well. So it's probably like 1,000, like maybe a kilometer, maybe 3/4 of a kilometer back.
And I'm hearing noise from that far away?
It's not really that far. So yeah, the loud noises carry in this area fairly well. So yes, you're hearing that.
Okay. I would assume like screaming I wouldn't, but maybe the crash?
Yeah, you definitely heard. You're not hearing the crash now, obviously.
Right,
You're just hearing voices yelling out. And it's not going to be just those three. There's probably going to be other people in the line who are kind of yelling out, like trying to figure out what's going on.
Right. So I get out of the hole, and then I realize, like, I would go to basically give Hannah a hand, but she's not directly behind me. And I call out,
Hey, Hannah, you coming? Hannah?
Okay, Hannah, you were...
I'm not even listening. I am just staring, like, open-mouthed at what is before me. Like, just thinking, like, I need to... Like, or just sort of just, like, kind of in shock, trying to, like, catalog what just happened. Trying to, like, save it in my memory, in her memory. So I think she's just kind of, like... She does one of these, kind of, like... holds her finger up and, like, kind of thinks about it, and then she finally kind of not shakes herself out of it, but goes, yeah, and she pulls out her cell phone and just starts, like, I think she just calls Maxwell. I think it's one of these things where she's gonna be like call in the guards, dude, this fucked up shit happened. Like, I don't know if she knows how to handle that. But she knows that, like, something really bad is happening, and it's almost this, like, I need to go tell an adult mentality.
Okay, so you pull out the cell phone, but you're getting no reception in the hole.
Oh yeah, of course we're running out. Right, like Chuck was running out. She is running out as well.
Okay, so eventually, Chuck, you don't hear anything, but if you wait, then she'll start scrambling out of the hole. Horace, so you are... So remember where you are, but for a second, Horace, you're wrapped around a tree. The Jeep is also wrapped around a separate tree. What are you doing?
I'm turning into a mouse. Maybe.
I'm gonna get very small right now.
Yeah, you might need a chiropractor soon too, but...
Yeah. Let's try doing the mouse first.
Okay. Yep.
Oh my god! What the hell?
Sir, you are gonna level twice if you keep this up. We've got a whole other hour and a half, maybe.
So you turned into the mouse, but you hit the tree kind of. So again, your back hit it and slammed around. So you got some like, if you were just straight out normal human, you would have had some major disc damage and some serious problems with possible paralyzation. But you it hurt a lot. But when you transform, you didn't really take into account the issues with the way that your spine was aligned. So you are a really you're a mouse, but you're stretched in a really strange way. You can't see my hand, but it's kind of bent backwards. So yeah, that didn't go so well, and your clothes didn't go with you either.
I was thinking I just didn't transform at all. Like I started to transform, and then my back hurt really severely. So it just didn't go through.
You got stuck halfway. No,
Either
sorry,
or.
I'm not trying
Either
to.
that or like a capybara now.
Yeah, I think that you did at least partially transform, but
Okay.
the pain in your back definitely got in the way and distracted you enough to where you couldn't complete that transformation properly.
Okay.
And
All right.
you hear like crunching in the leaves, kind of moving in your direction.
Uh,
And some yelling, "Hey, what the hell?" And then another guy's, "I think they went that way." And, "Did you see that? What that was?" I said, "No, I just." And then you just kind of hear voices going, but you're
Okay.
you're in enough pain that you can't really focus too much on what they're saying.
Am I aware that I'm only half transformed here? Or wait, how big am I? So what is my physical status right now? Am I like a were-rat looking thing, or am I just like a weird mouse snake, which is
Yeah,
kind of
I don't
what
know.
you described
You
earlier?
tell me.
I was thinking were-rat actually.
Okay.
It's just like a weird, short, hairy human with long teeth.
Oh, gross. Right
Yeah.
on.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm basically a Skaven is what's going on, I think. uh,
Yeah.
um,
Alright.
yeah. So, yeah, I think I sort of, he's still in pain, kind of manages to get to his feet, turns around. There's a ranger just staring like gape jawed at me like.
What the fuck did I just see?
Yeah.
Or what am I seeing?
Right. And that's probably the point where he just kind of runs off into the woods, or where Horace just like runs off into the woods. And,
Fair.
I don't know if the guy follows. Probably not. But
You hear it yelling like, "I think I think there's a bear." And then yeah, he runs off like trying to get someone else to give some backup or something.
Fair.
Because you don't look like a typical black bear, so maybe you're a
Right,
little,
right.
yeah.
right. So basically, this ranger has a story that his Jeep got stolen by a chupacabra.
Right. All right. What do you do?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. I, do I want to act under pressure to try and lose them? I mean, at some point, one of these is going to rolls is going to work. I
I
mean,
mean, how
Well,
lucky do you feel?
Yeah, what are you trying to do is, I guess, what would you do? I'll let you know if that actually means that you need to roll something.
okay. I think he just wants to get to like a place where he can, kind of where he's not running away from the authorities. Use his unquenchable vitality to try and heal himself, and then maybe try and get back to a regular form of person or mouse.
Okay. So then what does that actually mean? Where are you trying to go?
Elsewhere, somewhere where he can, I guess, hide.
All right. So
or-
I guess you've gotten turned around at this point, so you don't know which way, just off the top of your head, which way is towards or away. So you just run off away from them towards somewhere where it seems there's no people to try to change.
Mhm.
you find a spot that you don't seem like you're hearing people other than far away yells occasionally, and you're not hearing like footsteps or anything. Doesn't seem to be anyone around. So what are you doing once you get to that spot?
Checking for large discs on the ground, and I'm gonna use my unquenchable vitality. And let's
How does that
see.
work again?
Roll plus cool. On a 10 plus, heal 2 harm and stabilize your injuries. On a 7 to 9, heal 1 harm and stabilize your injuries. On a miss, your injuries worsen.
Okay.
So, yeah. Ah!
There you go.
Finally, yeah, that evened out. Okay. Yeah, so.
Snake eyes, double sixes.
Right. Like snake eyes over and over again.
Spider eyes.
Spider eyes. Yeah. Okay, so injuries stabilized. Harm healed.
How much?
2.
2 harm. Okay, so you're up to now just 1 harm.
I'm on 2 harm right now.
Oh, okay. So you heal 2, you're up to 2. Okay. So you still have the massive scratch on your back that did not go away as you did this. Your back, you're kind of hunched in a weird way because your back is not right. It's not straight. But as you stop and focus, you just hear your back just like, I wish you could see my hands, but you're all crooked kind of, and it's just like popping into place, like the worst chiropractic visit ever, or maybe the best, depending on how you look at it. Yeah, and you're feeling those bones cracking into place. It's great.
I'm kind of
Okay,
glad we can't see your hands.
yeah, it's a little disturbing in my head. Okay, so you at least are semi-whole. You still have that big scratch, and you're still in like were-rat form, but
Yeah.
you're not quite unstable. You're not unable to act. And what do you do from there?
Probably continue to try and turn back into a human.
Smart move.
And you don't.
I don't.
You can't. Yeah, no, it's not. For some reason, something like clinched, and you're kind of stuck. You can't get any shift. No matter how much you concentrate on it, you can't get yourself to shift at all right now.
Okay. Well, guess
But
I'm
your
a
back's
rat
not broken,
man
so
now.
that's a good part.
All right, Horace. You're a rat man now. Have to scavenge for food in the dark of the alley. Living
All right.
He's losing it.
from purloined moment to purloined moment. At least your
Okay,
back's not broken.
Yeah. And I'm gonna switch back to Chuck and Hannah, but would you just stay and continue trying, or would there be a point where you realize, well, this isn't working right now, and then you would shift to doing something else?
Yeah, the second one.
Okay. And what is it you would start doing?
Probably try and find Chuck and Hannah again.
Okay. So you
Even
head
though I'm
off the
doing
direction you
that
think
plan.
that they are. All right.
Is he being pursued?
He doesn't think so, but
Okay.
don't know. Chuck, Hannah, what are you doing?
What are we doing?
Heading towards the loud noise.
Right, which was Horace, right? So
It was.
Well,
Yeah.
we don't know that, but yeah.
Right. Yeah, it was just a loud noise, and at this point, the almost hysteric yelling aspect has stopped, but you're still hearing people yelling out, trying to figure out what's going on, like people that are just confused and not sure what's going on. So you start heading that way. At some point, let's see, Horace ran this way. Okay, so you get maybe 100, 150 meters, and you run across like this rat person, like coming towards you. You see him go around a tree, maybe 50 yards out from you.
I think it's startling, but maybe because it's. Wait, you don't have the stone, do you?
I think I still do. I don't know if I've actually dropped anything in.
Okay.
That last transformation
Are you naked?
Yeah. Are
didn't
you a naked
go
poet?
well.
Well, I'm a were rat, so I don't know.
Roll a no
were rat
roll
wearing
a
clothes.
roll a no consequence act under pressure. As long
Okay.
as you, yeah, let's see how that works. You do not have the stone. It is Hannah. As far as you can tell, that's coming from like about 500 meters back the way you came,
Okay, so
or maybe 800 meters.
okay. And I can't tell it's Horus.
Chuck actually says,
It's not a spider. It's a rat.
Oh,
Did I say things?
Can you tell? Yeah.
start chasing after him.
Hannah ready.
where's your dog, by the way?
Yeah.
He's away.
Okay, so he's just elsewhere. Okay.
Yep.
By the way, I just remembered, and so I guess you weren't really thinking about it in retrospect. Maybe at some point you're realizing it, but as Hannah was doing what she was doing, you were kind of getting a sense of unease, like just distastefulness in the air, almost like the how you would feel if you kind of smelled a dead body from far away, but you couldn't quite identify that it was a bad body. You just got this sense of ill, just not feeling quite right. You had gotten that as you were coming out of the hole, and it's still there. At some point, you may or may not actually notice it. It's very subtle, but it's there. And that's Chuck. Okay. So Chuck, you yelled, "It's not a spider, it's a rat." Horace, you're coming up. You see them both. What do you do when you see them?
Well, I'm imagining him sort of like a Power Rangers enemy, like villain. So like exaggerated movements and like sort of.
Oh no.
It's
Like you're wearing
Yeah.
a costume.
right. What do I sound like at this point? Do I have a human? Like, can I say things, or
Are
am
you
I
trying to
just
talk?
Like, yeah. If I see Chuck and Hannah, yeah.
What are
You
What are
see-
you trying to say?
Hannah, Chuck, it's me, Horace.
Okay. What comes out is not that. It's kind of like it's not squeaks. Yeah, it's more like the difference between a cat and a tiger. It's like a mouse sound, but tiger size. So it's kind of like a snarling, growling
Squeaking.
version of those words. You can maybe, if you
Yeah.
listen really hard, make those words out, but you can't get your mouth to make the shapes that you need it to make to get them to be right. So yeah, it's not quite right.
So he's kind of like an ROUS.
Yeah.
Like those grunting
Yes,
noises. and-
kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. If one of those
And-
was trying to speak English,
And,
but failing.
and I'm running at him with my spear like raised above my head, like I'm just like
Yeah, and you're
ready to
feeling
attack.
like you're feeling excited about this. This is really, yeah. You're feeling like you really want to just yeah. This feels good. It feels good to.
Chuck is feeling like he's not going to die this time.
Yeah.
It's a rat man. It's easy.
I like to think Horace is able to say one actual human thing here, and that's fuck. Starts running away. Fuck.
Okay, so you just turn and run, and Chuck, you
Yeah.
just chase after him.
Did that rat just say fuck? No.
So Hannah, what are you doing? So Chuck just he leaps forward. And he just charges like staff extended, like pole vault style, like ready to just. So what do you do? And then the rat turns and starts running the other way.
I think she was gonna air blast him, but
Okay.
he doesn't seem to actually be violent. So I think she pauses and is just kind of like watching it. It seems to be kind of doing this frantic dance. And what that frantic dance is you just basically just being like, guys, don't fucking kill me, like, right? Is that basically what you're doing? You're trying, like maybe you're pantomiming. Maybe she picks up on that. And is that an investigate?
Well,
That's
is that
something.
are you trying to convince them, Horace? Are you trying to let them know, like make them realize what's going on?
I thought that's what he was saying when he was trying to talk.
He started that, but then with
Yeah.
Chuck just charging him, he didn't have too much time
Right.
to focus on that.
Yeah. I think initially that was what he was doing, but now he is just running.
Okay.
Are you still trying to? Are you just running, or are you still trying to find some way to make them realize what's going on?
Yeah. I don't know that it's very effective. Like, I think, yeah, every now and then he's like, "It's me, you idiots!"
So So no consequences on this, but Horace roll manipulate someone, and Hannah roll read a bad situation.
All right. Let's see. What is that? That is
I lost
charm for
read a
manipulate.
bad situation. I have sharp.
What the hell, man?
A lot of ones.
Yeah, I know.
I did good at least.
All right, so okay, between those two, I think Hannah, you're starting to kind of pick up some mannerisms that maybe you noticed with Horace. You
This
just
rat,
something,
for whatever
yeah.
reason, has his same slouch. Like, it's real weird.
So you're kind of getting the sense that this is maybe Horace. This is something odd going on. So what do you do as Chuck is chasing after him? He's running away.
Hannah puts up an air wall in front of the both of them.
So in front of Horace, so Horace hits it and then Chuck hits it?
Yeah.
Okay. And Chuck is leading with his spear. Are you trying to like do a barrier, like a circular barrier, so they both hit their own separate version of it or something, or how?
So there's one in front of the other?
Yeah. Yeah, so Horace is running and Chuck is chasing him. And there's probably 20 feet at this point between them.
Actually, you know what? She puts it between them. I think it's a little too complicated to try anything more.
Okay, so then do a use magic.
Use magic.
And this is probably going to be like the literal effect is probably like bar a place or portal to a specific, or no. Inflict harm, do one thing beyond. Yeah, it's probably like bar a place, trap a specific person, minion, or monster. It's probably.
Okay, I was thinking more just like wall.
Yeah, and that's basically, and that's what you accomplish. I mean, you do it, so the actual effect is like stopping him. It's only gonna be a temporary trapping, but narratively, yeah, you're just throwing up a wall.
+1 harm though, so Chuck might slam into it and hurt himself. I guess, I don't know.
The barrier doesn't do harm. Oh wait, it can, but it doesn't have to, right?
Doesn't have to.
I think it's the barrier has armor, but the missiles have harm, if I remember right. Could have that wrong. So anyway, you're not trying to harm him, so Chuck, that happens. You have, between the two of you, how does this resolve?
I have a level of premonition.
Mm-hmm.
She succeeds in putting the wall up, but I stopped just before I hit it. I'm trying to think of how I would react to this wall appearing. Would I know it's from Hannah or not?
I would think you would.
Yeah, because I have seen you use this before.
Look, I'm sure you've come familiar with.
Horace is now getting away, though, right?
Yeah. If you're not sure, if you want to roll it just to see, just to push you one way or the other, you can roll a consequenceless read a bad situation, or you can decide yourself. Either or.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn and Chuck will say,
What the hell, Hannah? We gotta catch him. Why do you block me at this wall? You missed. You should have moved it a little further forward.
I'm kind of like chewing her out, trying to get this wall taken down, not realizing
And
that.
she's like, I think that might be Horace, but I don't know why he was acting that way. I think, like, just hold on. And she like watches Horace as he scampers off, and like she just stands there, because sooner or later he might turn around and look.
Yeah.
So, Horace,
I
you're
think she-
running. The wall is loud, right? That's a I believe that's a loud spell, correct?
It's like a boom. Yeah.
Yeah. So you hear that behind you, Horace. What do you do?
Yeah, I will
Runs
look.
even harder.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna look. I'm gonna see that that Chuck has stopped, and he'll sort of.
Did you like
slow
turn
down.
towards Hannah and start screaming at her? Is that how that ended up,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chuck?
he sort of slows down and stops. And what was it? And Hannah just said like, what was it? Hannah just said.
He was just kind of like, hold on, dude. Like, I think that might be Horace. And she kind of like does this like face, like she's not 100% sure, but she doesn't want to like.
I think one of you goes like, but how could we tell? At which point Horace flips you all both off.
Okay, I think that's Horace. She starts laughing. God, what a bitch.
He double flips you both off.
And you have these really weird stretched out middle fingers.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
I think she laughs for a bit, and then she kind of like jogs towards him, and she's like, "Dude, what happened? Like, what happened to you?"
Yeah. Cue elaborate snarling and growling.
What very
with a lot
simple
of
concept do you want to get
hand
across?
motions that don't
Like-
mean anything.
What's a one-word idea that you would get across in doing this?
Stuck, I guess. Yeah,
That's the word I was thinking.
That one, yeah.
Yeah. So you don't exactly know what he's saying, Hannah, but you stuck is one aspect of it you can.
It
You
just
can
kind of
make
comes
out, so-
across that there's
Yeah.
he conveys just sort of like a jam or like a. I think he does like one of these for some reason, and like that kind of makes sense to her somehow. Like
Okay.
he was turning and then I don't know. They play charades for a bit, basically.
Right. Okay. So
Where she,
okay.
like, so he's like 2 words, and like 2 syllables, like all that stuff. Right? And
Sounds like.
yes, sounds like just big moves here.
Okay. So you get the idea. Stuck.
So we play charades in the woods while there's like this horrible shit happening
Mm-hmm.
for like 10 minutes.
But you're
I
starting to
fucking love
hear voices getting closer, so it's not going to be 10 minutes.
it. Hello?
Yep.
Okay. My headset's dying, so.
Nice.
Just
Yeah,
heads
mine
up.
is still wired, so I don't have to worry about that. Okay.
So sorry, there's a loud noise getting closer.
Well, there's
said-
just the noise of voices getting closer. Like there's still people looking around trying to figure out what's going on, trying to find Horace, trying to find. Yeah, I mean that was just a whole crazy bunch of shit. So they're
It's
they're
not
trying to
just-
figure that out.
Hey, we need to get the fuck out of here. We need to talk to Maxwell. There is something going on there. There's a glowy hole in the space-time, and not like in a Doctor Who way. So we need to get out of here. And she like basically, like kind of just sort of like gestures to them, and I think we just run. I think we're just gonna run.
So Chuck, you have like a major sense of disappointment, kind of just deep in you, and you yeah, you still kind of have this urge that you want to keep chasing, but
Weird.
it's not like impossible to ignore or anything, but it's there.
Is it Horace specifically? Is he just like kill Horace?
Yeah, at this point, yeah. I mean, he has this really strong urge to both the thrill that had come into him from a hunt, and then the idea of killing this thing. Something about it just made him want to kill it.
Wow, creepy. Okay.
Yeah. So the combination of those two things led to, and then you getting in the way led to like a huge sense of disappointment and almost anger at you getting in the way, and that already
Resentment.
expressed. And
Yeah.
then yeah, and then still the kind of the urge, like this flavor in your mouth. You just kind of, it's still a little bit of almost drool when thinking about what was, what you were gonna get
Did
to
he
do.
fail a roll? Oh my god. This is
I'm-
Cthulhu. Alright.
I'm kind of pacing like Darth Maul on the other side of the energy field while Qui-Gon's in his like meditative state. I'm just kind of pacing back and forth with that look in my eye, like I want to strike, but hold back.
Oh my god. What have you become? Okay. So I think Hannah's goal is like we all need to get back to the base and talk and get an adult and figure out what to do next.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you, I guess as a group, if you want to just see if you can do that without anyone kind of stumbling across you, do an act under pressure. Maybe one of you roll it and one of you do a help out, or maybe two of you do a help out if you want. However you want to manage that.
Do not make me roll anything.
Okay, I nominate Chuck.
Okay. I also want to say if we're leaving, what's his name? Hobo had come back at this point. He was out like looking. That was what he was supposed to be doing. That's why I said he was away.
Uh-huh.
He
Oh,
comes
wow.
back, and I give him direction to keep looking for whatever it is we're trying to find. So he's not going to come back with us.
Yeah, when he comes back though, as he's coming close, he can't help but some significant snarling towards Horace as he's
Oh my god.
yeah. So he's gonna
Guys.
continue. He's gonna head back out and continue, kind of looking
Yeah.
around. Okay.
I'm going to need some serious help.
Oh yeah.
Oh god. I helped.
Alright. All right. So
Ooh.
Yeah.
so this is gonna end up with you almost stumbling across someone, or something, or someone coming across you, and Hannah at the last second bailing you out in some way. So how does that look between all three of you? I guess.
As we're walking back, we see the line or the people trying to come find horse that they had found earlier. Like they're trying to hunt him down, and we go into the bushes. But my bloodlust, I just want to get in some action, so I start to basically like go out to attack one of the searchers, and Hannah kind of holds me back.
How do you hold him back? How do you stop him? So Chuck, you're kind of evading them, and you're fine. You're like not. They're gonna go right past you. You find a way to kind of slip that line.
Right.
But as you're doing it, Chuck just starts. He looks at one of them, and he gets this look on his face, and you can tell that he's like about to pounce. He starts to just head towards them, and you can tell he's about to just charge. What do you do?
I think she tackles him. Like straight up protect someone, I think. I think she tackles him in a sense of like not like
Okay.
in a protective sense almost.
All right. You don't have to roll this. I mean, this is your help out.
Oh, no, I rolled a 10. Oh, right.
Yeah, your help out was tackling me, so I
I
don't
thought
have
that,
to-
like, I rolled a tough because I was like, it's a physical,
Right.
but yeah, no, I get what you're saying. So I think I tackle you, and I think maybe she says something like, "Stop it, you idiot!" And she realizes she needs to appeal to his kind of where his headspace is at right now. And I think she says, "Whatever it is that you're wanting to do right now, if you encounter them, you'll never get to do it. Trust me." She's like, "We need to take care of that situation right now." And she points at like Horace, and she's like, "Out killing him?" And like, I think it's...
As you're saying that, and you're in contact with Chuck, you just tackle him. You're kind of saying that your emotion, like you're in physical contact, and your emotion spiked for a second. And as that's happening, you get another flash. And as this flash is happening, like this is kind of like you kind of feel like it's one of the last sputters of that magic going off, the spell that you cast earlier, and you get like a sputter, and you get a sense of. It's hard to say what you get a sense of. You just get a sense of, you kind of get a feel for what Chuck is feeling. You get a feel for this bloodlust, and you get kind of like a scent, a very vague scent of fire, and like something burning, kind of sulfuric, vague, just wafting scent. And it's a really fast flash of like anger and desire, and a few very base feels, and then it's gone.
Like it can, like, is it clear to her that that's demonic or something like that?
It's maybe. It's pretty confusing. It's like a sudden flash that you didn't expect at all. So it definitely, those are demonic. They're things that could be hints at something demonic, but it's not absolutely clear.
But yeah, like it's definitely caught my attention that this might be demonic, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's playing with our, like, maybe she realizes it's like something's playing with our emotions. Because Hannah's not ragey. That's like not her thing. So feeling that kind of like rage did not seem natural to her at all. So I think that's what clued her in. Is suddenly feeling this like, which is just like not her.
Right.
So I think, yeah, I think that, I think that she takes her two fingers and she just kind of like does this, like really quickly on each side of Chuck's head, and just kind of like zaps him almost. It's just like a little shock of magic. It's not enough to really harm him.
Okay, so Chuck, you are getting ready to charge. You're about to leap. You're prepped. Your spear's out, and you're basically just taking that first step, and you get tackled to the ground. How do you react to that right before she touches your temples?
Struggle. I'm like trying to break free.
Okay, so as you twist under her, and you almost like turn your aggression on her, and as you're bringing her into your sight, and Hannah, you see the glare he gives you right before you tap, and it's like a type of anger that's it's very raw. And then as you touch his temples, Chuck, that fades completely. It's like it's a shock, and you're back to purely just how you typically feel.
Yep.
Yeah. So that as soon as you tap his temples, that fades immediately. It doesn't like knock him unconscious or anything, but the look on his face, just his presence changes pretty significantly as you do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Like it wasn't anything major. It was just like almost like shaking somebody out of a daydream, or like if they're just kind of thinking. Yeah.
And Horace, the two of them, like Chuck started turning, heading out, and then Hannah tackled him. They're laying on the ground at this point. You duck down, and then the three that had been heading your direction that you just kind of skirted around, they continue off. And at this point, there's no one immediately around all three of you.
Okay. All right, guys. She kind of looks at the two of them and like shakes her head and just says, "Come on, you gotta get back. Like this is super fucked up. And the longer we're out here, the longer we're gonna get caught. We nearly got caught. Let's get going. There's something bad here, some bad juju that we're getting fed, and it's affecting all of us. This is stronger than what we can comfortably handle right now. So we need to go talk to Maxwell, like stat. And she
Okay.
kind of like hauls herself up and sort of hauls Chuck up with her.
Horace makes a motorcycle motion.
He does this.
Yeah. To remind everyone that there is it's going to get real hard to get 2 people and a rat thing on a motorcycle.
By God, we're gonna do it.
All right. So you start heading back towards through the woods. As you go, you pass the jeep. There's a tree with a jeep wrapped around it, inexplicably. So as you're passing
I
that,
think we both kind of, like both Chuck and I probably look at it like, huh? Horace doesn't even look at it.
Yeah, exactly.
just wave it off like, that's nothing. It's fine.
He just keeps
That's normal.
walking. He's just not gonna acknowledge it. Doesn't want to talk about it.
You sure you don't want to drive it back? It'll be fun.
I'm sure to start.
Yeah, I don't think so. All right, so now that is a good relevant point. So you're back towards the edge, back where you had parked, or you could be there. Where do you go, and how do you get back?
Well, we were just in the woods, right? Like it was just sort of like, I can't remember what direction, but like north of town or whatever.
Yeah, it's to the northeast.
Okay, so yeah, I think we're not going to take the road. Oh, well, are we on? Did we get my bike?
Did you?
I'm
That's what
pretty
I'm
sure
asking.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you came by motorcycle. You and Chuck did. And
Yeah,
Horace
we
came
must have-
by wing.
Right.
Yeah, we probably parked it just like a trail parking somewhere nearby. So, we'll just head back towards that way, I guess. There's not much else we can do. Like she would have remembered where she parked it. So I think
Okay.
it's just about walking out there. So, these places, she says, so this, with all the stuff going on, there might be like troopers or police, at the camp, at the parking lot. So let Chuck and I go ahead and, we'll wave you over as soon as it's clear. And she like looks to you for approval, like yes, no, like you comprehend it. Like I think she kind of, like you understand English, right? Like you're not completely,
Yeah.
So she just wants to make sure you understand the plan. So
Yeah.
like in your current form, you should probably not be walking around. So
I still love the idea of putting a motorcycle helmet on him, and then it's just.
no, you're just.
Have the little
just
nose
gonna-
nose stick out the front.
Yeah.
How big are you?
I don't think he's as big as Horace is.
Right.
So like maybe like 4.5 feet.
Still
Right,
wearing
so-
Horace's clothes.
Oh God, yeah.
So he's got that like baggy pants and that
Right.
baggy t-shirt. Do you have a backwards baseball hat too? Sorry, I'm just talking shit. So yeah, basically it's just like I want to make sure that we will not get questioned or like have to deal with the authorities or anything like that. So I think she kind of trusts that he understands that, so that like her and Chuck go back. Is there anybody? Is that the case? Are there,
It's
rangers
surprisingly
and stuff?
empty. There are police cars in the area,
Yeah.
and then the whole area is kind of cordoned off so that there's not public access, basically. Further up, there's a gate, and the gate's been closed. And while there's cars, there's no people around. It seems like most everyone is off into the woods trying to help with the search, probably.
Huh. Okay. Cool. So she waves him over. Is he still paying attention? Is anything following us? Is he trailing behind? Is he noticing anything? Is he getting distracted by anything?
I mean, I could make a roll.
Make it fun.
Yeah, you don't notice anything unless you want to make a roll to see if maybe you do.
Not really.
Okay.
Not this point, not tonight.
At this rate, you're gonna get 3 levels. So why?
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's behind. You look back and you can kind of see him in the shadows
Okay.
by the tree line.
But it seems fine. He's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, like this is definitely Horace. So, I think that
I mean, relatively speaking, fine.
I think that yeah. So, I think we can all fit on there, but it's gonna be a tight fit.
Sit him on the handlebars.
I was gonna say because he's small, like a child, right? He can probably
A
sit
very
in front
big
of me.
child, like a 10
Yeah.
or 11-year-old.
Right, so I'm gonna have him like he could sit in front, and then Chuck could sit in back. I don't know how this works. Maybe you can fit in a saddlebag. Who knows?
All right. Okay, so you're gonna ride back
He puts
that
a
way.
leg. I get it. He puts a leg in each saddlebag and stands up, and holds on to Chuck's shoulders, and that's how we get back to town.
Also, he's definitely wearing the helmet because otherwise he'd be a weird rat guy on the back of the motorcycle.
The helmet is
Oh,
a
that's-
very weird fit. Like your
Yeah.
snout doesn't quite fit in, right? So it's sticking. You kind of got to keep the shield down or up a little
Mhm.
bit, and your nose is sticking out. So it's a little awkward. You definitely don't want someone to see you too close. All right, so you're gonna head back to the museum like this, right?
Yeah.
And trying to avoid
unfortunately,
notice.
Yeah.
All right, just to see how well that goes, do an act under pressure.
Us,
guess,
all of us, me.
Just Hannah. So just as far as you.
Cool. Not nice.
We all die right here. This is the end of it.
This is going poorly.
Rules
Oh,
of
okay.
characters.
So let me think. How is this gonna go bad? All right. Okay. So you're doing it up before town goes. It's not a problem. It's a little awkward. Like seeing around him isn't too difficult, but sometimes it's the wind hits in just the wrong way and the balance gets a little weird. But you don't crash or anything. You start getting into town. And you're starting to get a little bit cognizant of people around, cars driving past, people on the sidewalk. So you're getting a little paranoid. You're thinking that everyone's staring at you. You're getting
Not far from the truth, but
Yeah.
yes.
you're getting pretty close to the museum. You're maybe a block and a half away, and you come to a stop sign, and you stop, and you definitely notice someone walking past you on the road, like looks, and they're walking and they look, and then they walk in, and then they kind of double take, like look, and then they just stop and point, and they're like, hey, what is, and what do you do as soon as that starts happening?
I think that.
And there's a few
Hannah's
people
gonna-
around, so there's as he's calling, people that are walking on the sidewalk near him look at him to see what he's yelling about.
I think Hannah, like, this might end very badly, but like, is this gonna be part of this 5 roll? I think what she does is her immediate reaction is just be like edgy teen. Like maybe if this is some just like dumb teen stunt, people won't notice.
Do
But that
wheelie!
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. She's gonna rev the engine and throw like some devil horns in the air and just scream like rock and roll, and then like rev the engine. But it kicks the bike a little bit and it throws Chuck off the back.
Okay.
And Horace is like holding on to my shoulders, right? So
No.
He's in
Horse is
front
in
of
front
her.
of me.
I thought you said he had both his feet in the.
No, I was joking
So-
about that.
Oh, okay.
He would fall
So-
right the fuck off. Like,
So that is going to happen. Chuck is going to fall off. But just to see how that goes over them, roll and manipulate someone.
me?
Yeah.
Oh no. Charm. Oh no.
That's not as bad as it could be.
Oh,
I have a negative
actually.
1 there.
All right, so they're pointing, and you do that, and one or two people actually laugh as you do it, and they kind of turn and go their way. And then when they say Chuck fall, that's mostly what they're laughing at. You head off down the road. Chuck falls off. Chuck, what do you do when you fall off?
I
And remember,
landed.
they are
badly.
seeing an old man who just fell on his butt in the road off of a motorcycle. And they're kids. These are like teenagers, so they're laughing at it. They're not like running out to help you or anything. They're just laughing.
I forgot.
And,
You were
and,
old.
and Chuck, as he hits the ground, he's like, what the hell, dude?
All right. So you're standing in the road. What do you do from there? So Hannah's just left. She's driving down the road, and she's at this point
about to
gone.
say-
She turns the corner.
I was about to say, so we're in the town now, right?
Yeah, you're like a block and a half from the museum. It's around a corner and then up a block.
I start walking on down the street. Like I have this I got like nursing got like a little bruise on the shoulder type of thing from falling, and
All right.
everyone's of course looking at me, and I'm like wearing my UPS like gear, old dude. I yell at one of the person who's still staring at me. I'm like, "What are you looking at?"
Get off my lawn. Wait. Okay. They just laugh. Like at this point, almost everyone who watched is just like dying. They're almost literally rolling on the floor. And they're not helping at all. It's kind of ridiculous. But so you kind of walk off. I need to do visible clocks just so that I can show you them raising. But yeah, that attracted some weird attention that isn't going to immediately affect you, but that could come up at some point. Okay. But you all three make it to the museum, and in one way or the other, almost all of you have your pride hurt in some way.
Nice.
In one case, you're a rat man. In one case, you just yeah. So you're there. You pull in. I guess you pull in like the back lot and park and come in. Okay. So you head in. You're coming in like the back side entrance, but it comes into the main hall. Wait a second, I forgot we got to... Wait. There's no rooms here. That's not right. Oh, there they are. Okay. Alright, so back here... Why did I not go there? Got it. Fayfield! Alright, you head into the main hall, and it's empty. Like, there's no one here, and that's not a surprise. Maxwell's not in this hall, and they're here, but you're here. So you all made it back to the museum, and you don't have anyone with pitchforks out front. Yet, at least. What do you guys do?
Well, she's looking for Maxwell. She's basically like, as soon as she, parks the bike and throws her helmet off, it runs inside. And is basically just like yelling for Maxwell. Like she doesn't care if she knows nobody's around. She's just like, Maxwell!
Right.
Holy fucking shit! And of course he's probably like, excuse me language, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you find him?
he's probably he's not in the library. I think he might be. What time is it?
Let's see. You went during the day because you didn't want to be out there at night. It's probably about 4. It's afternoon, mid-afternoon.
He's probably actually just like lounging, like not doing anything super serious. He's just kind of relaxing. It's like midday, whatever. Or maybe he's napping. Maybe he passed out in a chair with a book or something. Yeah. So he's kind of in like one of the sort of ante-chamber hallway type things outside of like a library, like just chilling in there.
With like a big research book in his lap, but kind of half asleep. Okay.
Yeah, like passed out. So
Alright.
she comes in yelling and wakes him up.
He he responds with his typical kind of half annoyance at just the way that you don't care about interrupting him. You just burst in and do your thing. So he doesn't look surprised at all, though. He's, I guess, gotten used to that. So he opens his eyes. At first they fly open because you surprised him, but then he just like relaxes back into it, looks at you with an annoyed look, and it's like, what?
There is a like opening or a rift or something into the Fey realm that is not sanctioned, that is not the normal protocol. This looks like one of those, and she's like, and she's trying to maybe describe something that she had read about that she's never actually encountered that maybe Maxwell has.
Right. Chuck and Horace, actually, what were you guys doing when she went running off? Did you follow her? Did you stay?
Well, I'm still trying to get back to the museum.
Okay, so well,
I'm a
okay,
little
so
bit
she
behind.
gets there before you. You're walking
Yeah.
slowly, so you're not here yet. Okay. Horace, when she got off the bike, what did
Like,
you do?
Yeah.
Would she honestly ditch you in the middle of town? I think maybe she would have waited. Like, would have gone out of sight, but like waited out of sight for you to run up. Like, she's not going to turn around and go back because that would be embarrassing.
Yeah.
But she'll
I was
wait
thinking
up
that you ended up meeting up, so you were all here at this point.
It was only a block and a half, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If it was further, yeah, I agree, but it was not that far.
Okay.
Okay. So you're not here yet then?
Yeah,
You
if
might
she immediately gets in and runs trying to find
Yeah.
Maxwell, I'm still making the
Got
trip
it.
over.
Okay. So
Outside,
Horace, what
yeah.
did you do?
He follows, but not
Okay.
like right on her heels.
All right.
It's-
All right. So Maxwell, he's looking at you. He said, wait. Can you slow down a second? What?
So, okay. There seems to be, like, you know how there's, like, paths? There's, like, ways to kind of, like, get between the different, like, planes, right? It's usually, like, a construction, or a gate, or a portal, or, like, a...
Right.
You
We
know,
use the
like
passage rituals to open them whenever we need to pass through. Occasionally, yeah. Yes.
This is different. You could still see both planes, but this was almost like like there were no structures laid to make the opening. It was just kind of cut with something or torn with something, or maybe something like burst through it. It's without, but it still retains some kind of like form. Like I've never I haven't seen anything like this.
He's kind of looking at you, listening to you as you go through it, and he starts to say something. He says, so wait, where was this? This was in the, and as he's saying that, he suddenly just like jumps up, stands up, and he starts muttering something almost immediately. That's the point where Horace had walked in and was visible. So as Horace enters, Maxwell basically like just he sees this thing walking in, and he just leaps up, and he's preparing a spell. He can't, like, he's doing it so quickly you don't know exactly what it is, but do you react to that?
I think Hannah like bumps his arm, like kind of does one of these things to kind of get in his way, and Maxwell knows that like the actual physical contact can kind of be disastrous, and I think she knows that. I think she assumes that by like kind of lunging at him, he's gonna kind of like back out of the way because he's trying to do something and she's trying to get in his way. So she's distracting him without actually like.
Right. So he starts mumbling something under his breath, and he starts kind of moving his hand, and as he does that, you bump into him, and as you bump into him, he stops, and you feel this like jolt kind of dissipate. Like as you hit, it's almost like you're being shocked, but it dissipates almost immediately. So you feel that burst of magic just like forming and then fading before going away. It's like, what?
Because I was breaking his focus, basically. I was trying to break his focus.
Yeah.
Or one of his foci. So, basically, it's like, funny story. I think it's Horace. I've never. Yeah, it's Horace. Something
Right.
happened. Something out there, close to the tear, and she kind of like stares off in the distance. Is maybe the tear having something to do with the magic going weird? Is that why his transformation went weird? And she starts rambling
He,
on.
he had stopped listening to her. At this point, he was looking at Horace. He kind of holds his hands up again. I wish he had the camera. He holds his hands up like he's kind of calming and walks towards you a step or two, just kind of gauging how you react and assuming you don't really do anything, you just stand there and wait. He walks up and he kind of turns his head to the side a little, looks in your eye. He pushes your cheek to the side and looks like at the side of your neck, and he lifts up one arm. He grabs one arm and lifts it up and kind of looks at the way that's going, and then he takes two of his fingers on his right hand, puts them to your temple, and he takes one finger and puts it to the opposite side of your neck, and you feel like a little, as he whispers something under his breath, and you feel like a burst of heat flow through you from your head down to one foot, up another foot, and out up to the neck where he's touching you, and you suddenly just like feel like you were a block of ice and you just melted immediately into a puddle and then re-froze up. And so what happens is you end up you shift back down to a mouse and then back up to human form, but roll weird.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. Getting back to normal on those.
So luckily, as you do it, you feel it happening, and you kind of put just enough mental control in to ensure that the shift goes well. The clothes that you were wearing come back with you. The clothes that were already the wrong size for your old form had sort of faded into the mouse form and then faded back out into what you're wearing. So you reform as yourself properly, and he's like, "Huh, that was weird."
Tell me about it.
You had a block, like you were a mid-trance. I don't really understand shape-shifting magic all the way, but there was something there. There was something. It was a block. That was weird. But yeah, I unfroze that. You're welcome.
You know what? Thanks, Maxwell.
But how did
Thanks.
that happen? And then he starts. Hannah was still kind of going on as he was doing, so he starts listening back to her, and so now he's kind of listening to both of you as he says, what happened?
Well, I fell, and when I fell, I tried to turn into a mouse, and then this happened, and then yeah, what she said.
You fell.
I fell.
From,
you
just fell over?
Yeah, I
And,
fell over. Just fell over.
Okay.
I mean, it was a hard fall. I fell hard, like at least 20 miles an hour. But
wait, hold on. How do you? Wait.
You estimate you're going 20 miles an hour and you fall, right? That's a normal thing, right?
Okay. He looks back at Hannah. All right. So what happened?
Well, we were in the forest. We were looking for the girl that was missing, and we found this hole. Okay, and so I was under the plate. It looked like it was hidden. It looked like something was happening down there. And we found and this is where she kind of stops. So anyway, so there was a spider and
A spider? Are you still afraid of spiders?
a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was a big spider. It was really big, not like normal spiders, but like magic spiders. And
Like how big? And he holds his hand up like this big?
I can't remember, honestly. It's been too long. But
Yeah, I don't know if you ever saw it, but you do know that there's a 5-foot hole.
Yeah.
I guess you did
So I
see it
think
from the. Oh no, you didn't see it. Yeah.
So I think she kind of does this like one of these, like kind of like this or like that. So how big was it? Well, she tells him however big it was. It actually was. I don't remember.
I don't know if she
And
knows. I don't think. I mean, you
oh, we
haven't
didn't
seen
actually.
it. Yeah.
We just made assumptions. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you just had a hole that was 5 foot in diameter, and you found a body in it, but you don't know.
So I tell her. Sorry, I tell her. I tell Maxwell about the body, and that it was a policeman that had gone looking, and it didn't look like a human thing. Is that correct? Like we established that it was probably some kind of monster.
What didn't look like a human thing?
What was done to his body?
Oh, yeah.
said-
No, it doesn't seem like something a human would normally do.
Yeah.
As you're explaining this, at this point, Chuck, you get to the museum. I don't know if you're gonna look around and find them and be here or not, so up to you. But if you at any point want to come into scene, you can. Okay.
Yeah, and I walk up and I don't look too happy, but
Okay. So as you walk up, you hear Hannah describing.
Hannah's like, sorry, Chuck. I was pretending to be somebody who was trying to look cool. But I didn't want to actually be like weird about it and be around. And she kind of like mumbles and
Chuck doesn't
like
say anything.
looks embarrassed.
And Maxwell's just he's just looking, and he looks kind of back to Chuck and then back to you. He shakes his head. Okay, so there's a tear, a spider, a rat person.
Not a rat person.
Well, not
It's-
anymore. That's true.
Not anymore.
I still don't understand how, and he looks at Horace, how you falling fits into this, but I feel like there's some pieces that you aren't telling me.
Yeah, so something is happening to sort of, it's almost like the fabric. There was some kind of demonic influence. There was this, we got the demon rages. And she's
Demonic,
like, you know,
again.
yeah, like the demon rages, like, you know, where everybody gets all like, rah, 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 and people start fighting.
So the terror was demonic?
I think so. I think that, because like I definitely was getting like these waves of demon essence. It wasn't like full demon in your face, but it was definitely like, you know, like a whiff. I got like a whiff of demon. It was not cool. And she just kind of like crosses her arms and looks kind of like troubled.
Right. Just to clarify for you, you had definitely, like when the tear was there, you had identified that as like Fey type magic?
Oh, sorry, it was Faye. Sorry.
Right.
But there was demonic something there, though, right?
Yes, and I don't know if Hannah's getting them mixed together or conflating things, or if
She might
you're
be.
just-
She might just be kind of like rambling and just like.
So just so you know, though, when you were in the hole, the tear, you felt like Fey magic coming from that.
It was Fey magic, yeah. But there was demonic forces or something, right?
You felt something that hinted at demonic at some point, yes,
Okay.
and that was when Chuck was like rushing towards the officers and rangers.
So was
Or
that coming
about
from
to.
Chuck? Was the demonic stuff coming from Chuck?
You didn't really get a sense of where it was coming from. You got that flash as you tackled Chuck, and as you were talking to him, like as you were trying to talk him down, not knowing why he was doing what he was doing anyway. But yeah,
So I'd like maybe in my rambles, like maybe sorry I wasn't clear, but I think that maybe she didn't quite understand it, but as she's describing it, she might start to realize that maybe there's some sort of like demon presence or influence around Chuck, and kind of backs off the demonic stuff for a bit. Like I think
Okay.
maybe she's wondering if like maybe there's some sort of demonic possession situation going on with Chuck.
Chuck, how
Yeah.
close were you listening to that?
The end
I
part.
don't think she says it out loud. I think she starts to
Okay.
talk about it and kind of realizes mid conversation, so she starts to kind of hint at it and then just kind of goes, "Oh, you know what? No, I was wrong. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind."
Just for
But
fun,
she's like, she kind of like looks at Chuck.
Chuck,
see if he
roll a
noticed.
read a bad situation. Again, consequenceless, but just to see if.
See if
I'm
he
not sure we've
notices.
succeeded on one of these yet.
I'm pretty good at reading a bad situation.
Yeah.
That's sharp, right? Yeah.
Yes. 8.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't really you don't realize exactly, but you notice that as she's talking, you get the sense that she kind of glances at you, and just through her body language, you do feel
You
like
can tell she's talking about
yeah,
you.
she didn't say something
Right.
that she was about to say, and you can tell, and you feel like it was about you, yeah, but you have no idea what that would be. So
Right.
so anyway, okay, so Hannah's talking through that to Maxwell. Let me think. What would he? Okay, so did you end up telling him that it was? So you didn't say anything about the demonic stuff to Maxwell here, then?
I think she said something about like we got a bit of the demon rages, and as soon as that kind of fell out of her mouth, she looked at Chuck and realized she shouldn't have said it out loud. I think that's what it was,
Okay.
and she may have talked it down as kind of like, you know, like demon angry, like ragey angry, like maybe trying to like cover it up by using it as a characteristic as opposed to an actual like
Right.
magical, like hoping that that Maxwell would pick
Yeah.
up on that. But
And you think he does, because you can kind of tell from his body language that he noticed that you had started something and then stopped. So you're pretty sure that he noted that. Okay.
that's a conversation for later, probably, kind of
Yeah.
situation.
So let's see. I want to wrap up the session, so I'm thinking about where an endpoint would be. Okay, so he's listening to you. You get to the point where you start rambling. You're kind of describing what happened, and then you start going off on some tangent, and he stops you. He said, "Okay, so what you're telling me is there is some sort of damage to something that's leaking fey magic in the forest? Is that
Yes.
okay?"
And
And
I think it's attracting other magical types. I think it's she's like, I don't know if it's happening on both sides or what's going on, but people seem to be drawn to this thing. Stuff seems to be happening around it. Like with the loss of these people, like with these missing people and all of the searching that just keeps happening in this area over and over again. You think they would have found something, but they don't. Like there's people just disappearing. There's something going on over there. And we need to figure it out.
so the police officer you found, he was dead?
Yeah. Yeah, like
That's
I mean,
unfortunate.
we can't. And she realized, she's like, I didn't ward the whole. Chuck, what are you doing?
He's being sharp and charming. No, not charming, just sharp. Okay, so let me think. What was I? Sorry, I was saying something and then I forgot where I was going with that. Oh yeah. Did you find the teen that was missing, or have they found any signs of him?
We haven't. It was her, I thought.
No. So there
Somebody
was a boy, a girl, and then two other girls and another boy. The three had moved ahead, and it was just a girl and a boy that were hanging back. And she is the one that was freaking out and had found the police and had told them what was going on, that she lost him. The guy is the one who had disappeared.
Okay.
But you didn't find them. Okay. And you think that there's something in the woods. And you're sure that it's a tear of some sort.
Yeah, we can go look. I mean, not right now, but things are a little. Somebody was joyriding out there. I don't know. Something. Like I said, weird stuff's happening out there. I don't think they like her and Hannah and Chuck don't realize it was just Horace horsing around in a jeep, right?
Yeah. You never mentioned the Jeep to him, by the way. So that's. But or did you? Did you mention that?
Did I?
Did you say anything about the Jeep crashed in the woods?
No, I just well, not
Okay.
specifically. I think I just said like there are people like joyriding. Like there's it seems to be like that concentration, like a just a tizzy of stuff going on around this spot. I don't think she realized some of that tizzy was Horace, but like
Right.
it seems like there's a lot of activity in the area. So
Mm-hmm. A lot of
something is
weird
causing
stuff happening. Yeah.
a lot of weird stuff happening. Some of
Okay.
it's self-made.
So there's something weird in the forest. Fey magic leaking, and when you fall, you get stuck as a were-rat. Okay. This makes no sense.
No sense at all.
All right. So yeah, I think we have to figure out. I mean, if there's a tear into Fey realm, that is a serious problem, and that's something that we need to repair. That is not something that we can keep. That can cause
Yeah, that's our
destabilization.
job. Okay, so
All right, but you still have no idea what happened to the teen kid.
the teen kid.
Yeah, the boy. I don't know.
I think we can make some guesses.
Can you?
Yeah. I mean, like, Spider Slurpee, I think, is probably the best guess.
Did you just say spider slurpee?
I did say Spider Slurpee.
Oh my god. Gross.
So have we gone into the spider aspect of this yet? Is that something that had actually come out? I'm trying to remember.
Well, Horace thought it was a spider.
Uh-huh. But did Hannah sell anything about a spider yet? I'm trying to remember the first part of her.
She mentioned that she thinks it's a spider. We haven't actually seen the spider, but there's evidence of spider with spider webbings, spider
Okay.
holes.
All right.
Spider
So
nest.
then, Horace, what were you saying?
Spider Slurpee.
Spider slipper.
Oh god.
Okay. So you think that a spider of unknown size attacked the police officer? That's
It's more of unusual size would be my bet.
so it could be hand-sized. It could be we don't know. Okay. Interesting. And then how does that relate to the tear?
Nope. Everyone
Yeah,
looked like they'd frozen for a second.
I thought the same thing.
I think we were all just thinking real hard, okay?
Yeah.
I think Hannah just sums it up as like it's probably just all of the weird energy that's drawing all kinds of crazy monsters. Maybe it came through the tear. Like, who knows? Maybe it was something that came through the tear and then went back. Like, maybe that's what it's doing, is just hunting people here and then going back through the tear hole. Like, we have to kind of at least figure out why it's there
All right.
and who's using it.
Do you know if there are more than one? Is there just one thing out there?
It was the only one I could see.
One tear.
Just-
Okay. And what about
Yeah.
the spider? Did you see it? And how many are there? Is there one of those?
Well, we didn't like see it. We were just. Did we? Like, I can't remember if it's a real
You did
thing or
not.
not.
No, you've never seen it. Chuck has been the closest to seeing it, and then you almost saw it, but all you saw was darkness and muzzle flash. Chuck actually saw enough to see reflection in eyes, but that's it.
Okay.
But then you saw evidence of, like, the only aspect of it that you've come close to seeing is the hole in the ground, lid on that hole, and some sticky tripwire.
Right.
So it sounds like we have a couple problems that we need to deal with. That tear can't be allowed to grow. That could be catastrophic. And a spider murdering people in the woods is also a bad thing.
Not a good thing.
Yeah. So we need to figure those things out. Yeah.
Kind of hoping you would help with that. And she just looks like creeped out, mostly.
All right.
And,
Yeah.
and just a little, like,
So it's getting late. I think. And Horace, I guess the scratch on your back isn't really visible, right?
Probably not.
Although you were in like
yeah,
a
you're
double
pretty injured.
car crash. I don't know how does that end up looking? Is anything torn up?
Yeah, I
I
guess.
I think we said it was on the back of my neck, but
The
not
scratch.
my back. Yeah.
The scratch that actually damaged you, but you were in a car crash, so I would assume
Yeah.
there might be other like clothing damage or maybe
Minor
bruising
scrapes,
or something else.
Well,
Alright.
he did use his vitality. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. He doesn't look like he's in a car. He might look a little bit beat up, but
Okay.
I don't think he looks like he was in a car crash. He just
Okay.
looks.
Alright.
Yeah.
What about your clothes?
That's probably covered in dirt, and
Okay.
pants at least are torn up. I think the coat is sort of magic, so probably is doing okay.
Yeah, the coat's good.
Oh yeah, his shirt's torn because he tore that to lead the cops off on some wild goose chase.
Right. Okay, so I think we need to do some digging, see if we can find any precedent for it. The combination of these things. It seems very coincidental that random things unrelated would be happening at the same time. So yeah, we need to find some correlation. I think Hannah, if you, and then he basically goes through, like he lists out some books that he needs you to see and some information he needs you to pull, and then he goes off to do similar things, and he's going to have you guys, or at least Hannah and you, and if the other two get involved at all, do some checking, find out what's going on, and that's where we'll end up picking it up next week.
Okay. Sounds good.
So not a huge, exciting cliffhanger, but
It is progress.
yes.
Especially for Daniel's character. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Level.
Man, you're so bad, you're good.
Did I actually fail any? I think I failed one, right?
I think some of the ones you failed were non-consequential, though.
Right.
I
I rolled a 5, but
think you might have gotten 2 spots of experience that were actual failures that had consequence. I think one
ever or
was
today?
today. I think Chuck had. Chuck, did you only have the
I just
one? Or
had
did
one.
you have? Okay.
The second one had been helped out, so it became a 7.
Ah, right.
Right.
That's why I was thinking there were 2. Okay, so
I
mostly
think I just
Horace
Yeah, sorry.
just did a lot.
Yeah. I got beat up by a tree.
Yeah. And you really took out that evil Jeep. I mean, that was some good work. What you didn't realize was it was a possessed Jeep that was actually murdering people, and you actually just saved the entire town.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
hero!
And the funny thing is, I made all those rolls without actually adding the -1. So
Sorry to
actually-
be pushy.
Yeah.
I want to do I'm very tired. Also, my
Yeah.
headset's been dying for like a half hour, so I'm afraid it's just gonna cut out any minute. And I want to finish the end of like. The
Oh, yeah.
points.
I always forget those, so thank you. Okay, end of session.
Yeah.
So, did you conclude the current mystery?
Nope.
No,
Did you save someone from certain death or worse?
no, not really.
I mean,
Horace didn't run over those guys.
Yeah, at the cost of his plan and hide, so I'll say yes for that one. So yeah, you saved someone from certain death, even though you were the cause of that certain death. Did we learn something new and important about the world?
Maybe.
we learned there's a hole in it. I mean,
Yeah.
That seems pretty important, so yes, let's call that a yes. And did we learn something new and important about one of the hunters?
Chuck has some real anger issues.
Horse can't drive.
Horace, Horace can get stuck. Oh no, we kind of knew that already.
Sometimes he can get really stuck, apparently.
So now, for each one of these that we do get, do we mark it, or is it every 2?
No, 1 or 2, and you mark 1. 3 or 4 yeses, and you mark 2.
Okay.
So you saved someone. You learned something about the world. So did you learn something? Did you actually learn something about one of the hunters?
I don't think so. Not really.
Not really.
I mean, there was there was the weird thing with Chuck, but I don't think we actually learned anything about it.
Yeah.
That could be something that could be like possession or some other random crap. So I'm not.
Well, yeah, and we don't other than we don't really know that anything happened. I don't think. At least me, Horace and Hannah don't.
Horace doesn't
Chuck,
for sure.
yeah.
Hannah.
Hannah might be like, "What the fuck, Chuck?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, mark
You buddy?
2, 1. Mark 1?
1. 1.
1.
It's
Okay.
only 3 things.
Right.
I mean, 2 things. Ah, fuck.
Ding.
You got it?
Ding. Same.
Do you know what you're doing with that, or do you have to think about it still?
I do.
Is this something you can share with the class, or you don't want to?
Trying to think about the exact. I think it's going to be act under pressure and investigate a mystery are now advanced.
Oh. Act under pressure and investigate a mystery? So you can do 2 of them?
It says advanced 2 basic moves.
Oh, nice. Act under pressure. Oh, cool. So now with act under pressure, you may choose to either, if you get 12 plus, you can choose to do what you wanted and something extra, or to do what you wanted with absolute perfection. Oh, that's cool. That could be interesting. And then with investigator mystery, you may ask the keeper any question you want about the mystery, not just the listed ones. That also could be useful. Okay, cool. Did Horace actually end up leveling?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you know what you're doing with that? Or are you waiting
I
to
think I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna create a second hunter.
Huh. Okay.
And yeah, probably gonna be. God, what did I actually say her name was? Sarah Teller, Horace's mother, but.
Oh yeah, Lara.
Yeah. Laura, that's right. Yeah.
Lara. That would be cool.
Yeah.
That'll get a little more focus on her, figure her out some.
Right.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, you can think about that.
Yeah.
How to roll that, and then we'll figure out how to incorporate that.
Yeah. Can you? I think you can create another second character sheet, right, and give me access to it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all. In fact, I'll go ahead and make that now.
Yeah.
Where is it? There. No. Ah, there we go. So add character. Laura Teller. And stick that with you. Alright, so you have access to that now.
Sweet. Yep.
Okay, so feel free to flesh that out, and then we can see where that goes next week.
Awesome. All right.